I'm here with our first 2025 Tournament of Champions finalist, Mr. Jonathan Moses, with the dog Dow Jones here. Congratulations.
Welcome tonight to the 2025 United Kennel Club Tournament of Champions. The finals have come, we're ready, and we're excited to bring it to you tonight. I'm your host, Jamie Eastep. We are in Greencastle, Indiana, and I am joined tonight by none other than our two famous panel members tonight. Our first one that I would like to introduce to you is Mr. Steve Burkholder. He's our first panel member tonight. Steve, go ahead and greet the people there.
Absolutely. Well, hey, we're just excited to be here at another one of these TOC finals. It's always exciting to come and participate with the hunters. It seems we was out at the barn today and just talking to a lot of these gentlemen with their dogs that are hunting tonight, and it's going to be an exciting final cast for sure, and we're certainly excited to be here.
All right, and also we have with us tonight is our fan favorite, Mr. Rick Stretch.
And I want to say how happy I am that Steve is back tonight. You know, whenever we rode out to the club today, Steve rode with me, and he pointed out a lot of things that you and I could have done better Thursday night, things that he would have changed or done in a different way. And about halfway out there, I slowed down, and I thought, man, if I could kick him out of this truck, I would, and just speed on up to the club, you know. But welcome, Steve. It was good. It's good having you back, and we're going to have a good time tonight. We got some powerhouse dogs in there. We got some stuff that we're going to talk about them, and I'm looking forward to tonight's hunt and seeing a whale of a performance out of the hounds.
I'm honestly a little jealous tonight. I'm not sure if UKC sent you guys on vacation. You went to Aruba and you went to Cancun preparing for this night. I went to work. I mean, I'm not sure. I wonder if there was an issue of here getting your guys' minds right for this. Your tans look pretty much the same, really.
I feel like my mind was right on it Thursday night.
Was it?
I feel like Thursday night I was right on it. I didn't realize the situation with Steve not being here, and I thought, well, they finally figured out that you and I can do it ourselves, you know. And then as I learned what was going on with Steve, I started feeling bad for him and things like that. And it's good to have him back tonight. I'm glad he's here.
Well, guys, let's get down to the serious business. We are down to the final three tonight of the Tournament of Champions. And as Steve said just a moment ago, we've had the opportunity to talk to the hunters. We've had an opportunity to see the dogs. We know where the cast is going, and we are excited to do that. Now, let's take just a few minutes, and in just a few minutes you'll get to meet the final three. But how did we get here? We forget sometimes, just to kind of remind folks how we got here. And just on round one, we had 96 dogs go to the woods on Thursday night. And then from that 96 dogs, we were down to 24 cast winners. And then last night in round two, we had 24 dogs go out in 6 casts. And then we had the second round, or the third round last night, and we had 3 casts. Those were heads-up casts. It was 2-dog casts, and then that brings us to tonight into our final 3 dogs. And one of those 3 dogs will be crowned the 2025 UKC Tournament of Champions and will take home first place, $50,000. We will find out who that is in a couple of hours. We want you to sit back, we want you to relax, and we want you to walk through tonight this exciting evening as we bring to you coon hunting action from the 2025 Tournament of Champions here in Greencastle, Indiana. So now let's take just a moment and let's meet those 3 finalists of the 2025 UKC Tournament of Champions. The first hound and hunter that you're going to meet tonight is Dow Jones and Jonathan Moses.
I'm here with our first 2025 Tournament of Champions finalist, Mr. Jonathan Moses, with the dog Dow Jones here. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Been a long night for you. Had 2 rounds tonight, but let's start a little bit further back than that. Tell us a little bit about Dow Jones here.
Well, we got him when he was about 9 months old. Josh Jones, my partner, bought him. pretty much put me behind him, and I got half interest in him. So we've been just grinding on him the whole time and got him about where we want him. Started running him in some hunts about a month and a half ago, and he's done well. He like I said, he hunts like last night. I told you he hunts about off the recut as good as he does out of the truck. So that's his strong point. He's looking to get treed and have a coon. He's just a good, well-balanced dog, especially for his age.
Yeah. You guys had the regions down Decatur, Tennessee, right there, not far from where you're from. How'd the region weekend go? Doubled up there?
Yeah, doubled up. He had 475 Friday night, treed 3 singles, looked as good as he could look. And next night, actually drew. There was 3 single cast winners in that cast, so he treated the only coon, and then I got recut and was treated again in a pine. We didn't find it, but nobody else treated a coon. I had 225 and won that cast.
You guys came to the finals here. Out of the 96, there was 4 one-year-old dogs. He's one of the youngest dogs in this hunt. Feeling any pressure that way?
No, not really. I mean, he does his own thing. I mean, he's always just. He'll treat with dogs, maybe out of the truck, but other than that, he usually just does his own thing. He don't let no other dogs bother him, and he treats coons. That's the main thing.
Yeah, Thursday night's cast checking in. You've been here before. Last year you made it to the round of 24. First round, nothing new for you, and you guys had a pretty good hunt last night?
Oh yeah, real good hunt. Just actually I think we scored on 5. Another dog had me beat, and I got the break I needed. He made a blank, and I won. We both treated 2 coons, so good hunt.
Yeah, and tonight, early round, you guys had a bit of a coon treeing contest.
Oh, yeah,
you guys treated several coons.
Treated several coons, had a couple timeouts. Actually, one timeout I thought was going to cost me because I was treated with a coon that would have given me 575. That would have sealed the deal.
Yeah.
Then we had to hunt 19 minutes, and then I was in a rush to get back here, so we was in a battle.
You had us all nervous. I'm still a little tore up from it. But hey, the nerves kind of went away in the late round here. You guys handled business.
Oh yeah, yeah. He looked real good late. He was treated 0.7 out of the truck, had a coon, recut. He was treated 0.9 back the other way, had another coon. So
yeah,
pretty simple.
I know all the guys back home in Southeast Tennessee and everywhere rooting for you and Josh and this hound. I know Facebook will be blowing up over it. What's it going to take tomorrow night to win this cast?
He's going to have to treat coons. I mean, more than one. Just keep treating coons like he has been, and I'll be fine, which I know there'll be some good dogs. I've drew good dogs every cast, so I know the final 3 will be elite for sure.
Yeah. Well, hey, congratulations again. Good luck in the final cast later tonight, and you got $20,000 in the bank. Let's see how much more you can
Hopefully
go.
50.
That's right.
Well, there you go. You got to meet their first finalist. That is Dow Jones and Jonathan Moses. I will say before we jump to the panel, I want to remind everyone that Dow is off of Little Money, and Little Money has had 5 pups qualify for the finals of the TOC. And we'll talk about the other sires just in a moment, but we wanted to just let everybody know that Dow is off of Little Money. And so, guys, what did you see there? What do you got to talk to those guys tonight from Tennessee? There's the pedigree of Dow Jones, and anything jump out at you guys there?
Well, you know, following along last night, I obviously wasn't here on Thursday night, but getting to know these guys last night, obviously the one partner was sitting back at the clubhouse. I don't know who was more nervous. I guarantee he was more nervous than Josh, obviously, out hunting them, but he beat some really good dogs to get here, and casts that was very competitive. You know, obviously in the late round it rolled his way. It can go one way or the other, but you heard what he said. Looking at his scorecards earlier from Thursday night, he had to win a cast, a very competitive cast, and then early last night he had to win one of them casts that's tough to win. Unfortunately, they had dogs scatter, go in different directions, and they had to regather dogs back up twice. And anytime you get in that situation, I think we all know from hunting in the past, it can really reset the table. And even though he had the lead, the way the strikes was in there, it could have ended it with a coon. You know, he'd treat it, the scorecard doesn't reflect it. But watching the play-by-play and talking to him today, he'd treat a coon on timeout. That would have certainly closed the deal. And sometimes as a handler or a hunter, it almost deflates you a little bit because you know it could have been over with right then, and it starts working on you, but they didn't. They continued to, they won 2 very, very competitive casts. And when you can do that in this type of situation, it gives you a lot of confidence going into tonight's round, knowing that you can win them tight casts, especially with a young dog. This dog is young and certainly has a bright future in front of him. And you can look at the scorecards, hear to the people that taught with him. This dog has got he's got the wills, he's got the chrome to win this thing if things roll his way.
All right, well, we're going to jump to our second finalist. And before I do that, I do want to say again, congratulations to Jonathan Moses and Dow Jones and that whole group from Tennessee. Congratulations. But now let's jump to our second finalist, and that is Cowboy and Austin Gentry.
Oh, I'm Austin Gentry, and this is a Pine Bottom Electric Cowboy.
Man, you and Cowboy, quite the run this weekend so far, but we'll start out a little bit further back. How'd you come across Cowboy here?
I started hunting for Brian Hudson. He's the owner of the dog about 1.5 years ago. Brian called me and said, hey, I got some dogs here, and if they don't work, we'll find one. And so that's what I started calling around, and got him from Ty Flanders down in South Georgia.
Yeah.
He come from Ty. He's off of Ty's old female that he raised, Punch Drunk, and Electric Rodeo.
Yeah.
And man, he's been good to us about ever since we got him. He gets us in about everywhere we go, and we ain't been able to finish a big one, so I hope we can conquer that this weekend.
Yeah, remind me. You were here last year. Was it this hound here that you had?
That's right.
Yeah, so you made it to the round of 24 last year.
That's right. We just had really got him. I had him about 2 or 3 months, and so we were still trying to get on the same page. And he's changed a little bit since then, but he's been good to us.
Yeah, you guys are pretty consistent cast winners. Don't really matter what state or what kind of terrain you're in. What about him makes him so competitive in these hunts?
His number one thing is he has his coons. When he gets treed, he's got his coons. Taking pleasure hunting, he trees, I mean, literally, 20, 30 in a row, and you're like, how can I get beat with this dog? And you go, but there's more to it than just having coons. But his main thing is when he gets treed, you can cock the hammer, he's got a coon.
Yeah. Went to Conway, Arkansas region. Am I right? What'd that look like for you?
We was in some good hunting. Scored on 3 singles Friday night.
Yeah.
Won my cast and scored on 2 and had 1 for insurance if I needed it on Saturday night out there. So he's just a consistent coon treer.
Yeah. Last night, obviously, you guys have been here and done this on Thursday night. It was able to do it again. What Thursday look like?
Last night, shoot, this has all been a whirlwind for me. Man, what did we do last night? I'm having a hard time remembering who I even drew.
It's all running together for me too, but
I had 400. I had tree 2 coons.
yeah,
he looked really good. Had a den. I treed a coon out of the truck, and I tree a den, and then I tree another coon at the end of the hunt to give me 400.
yeah. Coming in top 24 tonight. Again, you've been to this round before, early tonight. But he put on a little bit of a show there early. I had a little bit of a shootout with the blue dog there.
Yeah, the blue dog of Steepers, it looked really well. He made 3 trees, had 3 coons, and got us to the top 6, and we had a good hunt late there.
I was kind of wondering, temperatures have dropped on us here steadily all day, and frost starting to come on a little bit. Does he handle that whenever maybe coons aren't down, leaving a good track, and he has to lay one up or ambush one?
Man, he's not gonna do too much on the laying one up. He's just gonna go until he finds his kind of coon that he knows he can tree, and that's about what he done tonight. He's probably not gonna be close, and he wasn't on a night like tonight when the frost and the moon's bright and it's frosty out there. It's cold, but he's gonna go until he runs across his kind of track.
Well, shoot, later tonight you got at least 20,000 in the bank, and you're shooting for 50,000. What's it gonna take for you and Cowboy here to take home first place, you reckon?
Well, there's some good dogs and some good men in the finals with me, so I'm tickled to be here. My dad's on his way up here, and Brian the owner of the dog's on their way. So, wow, we're just tickled to be here and let the cards fall where they fall.
Man, congratulations on your run. Good luck later tonight. Hopefully y'all get some rest, and I look forward to hunting with you tomorrow.
Shoot, yeah, man, I appreciate it.
All right. Well, we want to say congratulations to Cowboy and Austin Gentry. We're excited for them. And Rick, what did you hear him say? Anything Austin say that jumps out at you? Did you get to talk to Austin any?
Yeah, a little bit today. And Austin goes back and says when he can find his coon that he knows he can tree. So this dog here, apparently, Austin's got it figured out to where he's not going to beat around, bang around on something that might not materialize. The dog's got a lot of wheel on him. He's got a lot of wheels, and he's gonna get in there and get after one that he knows he can put up a bush, you know, and they're going to score them. What did he say? He treated like 28 or 29 in a row or something with him there, and he come out of the Arkansas zone, and he was a double cast winner there. He finished second in the zone out there, so he had good scores out there. He had 6 1/4 and 450, I believe, and he's going to get plussed. When Austin trees that dog tonight, we're going to know that he's going to walk in there and he's going to have a raccoon that he can see.
Yep. And then we can also let our viewers know that Cowboy is off of Rodeo. Right. And again, we're just showing you that Dow Jones was off of Little Money, and he had 5 dogs qualified. Now we're moving into Rodeo that had 6 dogs to qualify. We see the pedigree now. Steve, let's go to you for a second. This one's pretty easy to look at, and I think a lot of viewers will recognize these names. But Steve, tell us a little bit there.
Well, you know, he's off of a dog called Rodeo. I had the pleasure of hunting with him different times when they was competing with Rodeo. Matter of fact, as some viewers may know, Rodeo beat me out the year that he won the World Hunt. It was down into the final, the cast to get into the finals. I placed 5th that year, and Rodeo went on to win it. And just kind of, you know, looking at a lot of the pups that he's siring, it's no accident that this Cowboy dog's here where he's at. And, you know, he has the ability to put up a big score or win a cast that you got to tree one coon. And last night, looking at his score from last night, looking at his card from Thursday night, talking to Austin, he had no easy. It wasn't. He drew some really good dogs and had no easy cast to win. Last night it come down to the very end. They was tied, and he won on the tiebreaker. And you know, it was that way all night in the top 6 last night. That was probably what stood out to me as much as anything. Is what I really loved about this weekend is we scored on multiple game, and what that does is it gives dogs an opportunity to showcase, and you're going to see a lot of these competitive casts where it comes down to literally, I mean, last night at this hunt here, they literally score 2 trees as the hunt is ending. Yeah. And if he doesn't have a coon and the blue dog has a coon, the blue dog wins, and it still come down to a tiebreaker. The blue dog had pulled some minus, and really ultimately is what was the winner of that cast.
On Dow and on Cowboy here, did they score any minus on their cards? Did you notice? Looking at them?
No, I did not see. I didn't see any minus points on either one of them.
Okay.
And that was obviously conditions with the moon out and stuff like that. We did see it in all rounds where there was, where there was minus points. But it just seems like them dogs that can kind of keep their nose clean, maybe make a den tree, that kind of thing. But keeping your nose clean, but also being able to win them casts, them real tight competitive casts.
Well, we want to again say congratulations to Cowboy and to Austin. Congratulations on being here. We want to meet our 3rd finalist tonight. That is Little Ann and John Strickland.
All right, tell us who you are and who your hound is here.
John Strickland, Springfield, Kentucky. I've been doing this coon hunting gig for about, since I was 9 years old. This is Willie's Little Ann, 5-year-old female, off Willie, of course. I got her from Ellis Keene and Jared Gray. I believe, Trevor, you might clear this up. I think they won the Triple Crown with her a couple years ago. And I guess she had a little problem finishing. This Alan's like, gotta make her finish, can't finish. We got her finishing.
Got her finishing.
We got her finishing.
Hey, it's been a whirlwind of a weekend here, but let's rewind it a little bit and talk a little bit about your running there at the Regions. Where'd you go and how'd you do there?
Went to LaGrange. The first night had 587.5. with 19 minutes left, closest dog to me had 12.5 minus. One of them had 150 minus, one of them had 175 minus. And they wouldn't withdraw because y'all's rule of you got to hunt, you know, the whole time for 2 hours, or they couldn't hunt tomorrow night. The next night, I had 375, and they did withdraw. I mean, I hunted 38 minutes with them, and then just cut loose and kind of hunted around and ended up with 3 something. It was a horrible night, treats and dens, raining sideways, wind blowing. So we advanced on double cast wins.
Double cast wins?
Yep.
And you guys have been here. You've done this here at the TOC. I think you've been here just about every year in some capacity. So.
I've been here every year that y'all have had it, myself as a handler, and I've won every first round. Quit. Now stop it. I've won every first round except for one. I won a second round one time before.
Yeah.
And then I guess it was 2 years ago, we actually, a handler that works for me, Jeff Rickliff, actually won the whole thing.
Yeah.
So we've had good luck. This has been a really good hunt for us.
Yeah.
Great hunt. So I ended up barring her, and I hunted her. First hunt I put her in was July 7th. And I keep a little pad how many coons she'd had, and I'm thinking about 45 days, I was thinking back, man, I don't think she made a bad tree yet. So I get looking at my little app I got on my phone. She hadn't made a bad tree. She was like 62 in a row.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to own this one. I didn't own her, you know.
Yeah.
I got to own her. And anyway, I cut a deal with Ellis, and they were, man, they were so good about it. A lot of guys, you know, they done pretty well with her, but you got to understand, since July 7th, we won 163,000, not counting, well, now 183,000 minimum, you know, up to what, 210 since July 7th. And a lot of guys, you know, they had a dog and they pass it on. Somebody does that, and you know, they kind of got the, I don't know how to say it, the raw, you know.
Yeah.
You know, a little, I ain't gonna say jealousy, but it kind of like, most people are like, well, I could have done it if I'd have hauled her, if we'd done that, you know. But those guys, man, they've been over the top, like, just super supportive. They want to see you win.
Yeah.
JR just texts me, where we at, you know. So they've been really, really good about it. And I get it, it promotes that Willie dog, and it promotes that line of dogs. And Ellis was a good enough man to look inside and say, hey, I never would have hauled her to the big hunts that John's put her in.
Yeah.
So the odds of them doing that were, well, you got to take them. You know, if you don't take them, you don't go to a race, you ain't going to win a race. So, and Eric Emery, I mean, he was here. He just got knocked out. He hunted her forever, you know, for, I guess, a good season, and did some winning with her. And I've taken dogs from guys in the past and won with them, and then they don't want to speak to you, you know. But Eric's like, man, get them, get them, get them. So those guys have just been over the moon. You know, I got a couple guys at the house that a lot of people know, but they don't show up on the big scene. Jacob Benningfield and Jordan Mullins. And when I can't hunt or don't hunt or just wore out, they take her and hunt her. So they've done a good job with her, you know. And but the biggest reason we're here is probably Suzanne. You know, I mean, she takes care of the house and takes care of the kids and takes care of me. And naturally, you guys that put on these big events, I mean, without you guys, we're hunting for peanuts, but obviously this ain't peanuts.
Well, congratulations to Little Ann and John Strickland. Again, before we go to our panel tonight, I just want to again point our viewers out that we have another sire that had 6 pups coming through to the finals, and that was Willie. And so now we see our first dog, Dow Jones, was sired by Little Money, had 5 pups. Cowboy Rodeo with 6 pups, and now Little Ann by Willie, and he has 6 pups. We'll get them through tonight. We'll try to find some time and give the sires some credit as we move through this, but we want to say congratulations to all 3. And this time I'll go to Steve. Steve, talk to us about what we see here in Little Ann's pedigree.
Well, what stands out to me is another world champion. It's amazing in today's world that we live in. It hasn't always been like this, and I would love to get Rick's perspective here in a minute on it. because he's hunted in these hunts a lot longer than I have. But in years past, a dog would win the world hunt, and it was just rare to see a dog that won a world hunt to have pups out of, be able to be sire dogs that win on the national stage like these dogs are winning. And we obviously had Rodeo, past world champion, has a dog in these finals. Now we have Rack 'em Up Willie. And looking at Ann's scorecard and knowing the Willie dog and watching what he, when they competed with him, he was the same style of dog. But even then, when you go down to the grandparent side of it, I mean, what can a person say about Wipeout Zeb 3? A very tough competitor in his day, and also sired a ton of pups that was winners on the big stage. So there's no, I mean, she's got the dogs behind her to really understand why she's here for. Then obviously, with John behind the wheel or whatever, he's always had a knack of taking these dogs and
he's got a good eye for it.
He's got a good eye
Yeah,
for it. He
he's
can
got a
spot
real
one a
eye.
mile away, and he's done it with many different dogs. Obviously, and just to wrap that up and just think about that, he bought Ann in July or sometime, whatever he shared there. He won $163,000 with this little female in 9 months. It could be over $200,000 tonight. That's just incredible in the day and age that we live in. But that's where we're at. It's exciting to be able to come in and compete in hunts that you can actually win that much. Before, if you won that in a career, it would be a career that you would always dream about, and now you can do it in a year. Now, don't get me wrong. I also know, for us that know John or whatever, he does put the work in it. It's not just something that falls into his lap. He hunts a lot, like you shared. He has neighbors of his that they hunt, and they're prepared to come to hunt in this hunt. And I'm very confident that she's going to be tough to beat tonight. I mean, you look at the scores. I mean, they put up some incredible scores. She come out of a zone as a double cast winner. As you know, our zones are extremely tough to get out of. There's a lot of good dogs that go home on that level. She doubled up there, obviously, but she's had to win some very tough casts to get here. Last night, as many of you was watching the play-by-play on some of these casts, she has her cast won with literally 13, 14 minutes left to go. Really no way that she could be beat, and that quick it changed. And literally had to get treed with less than a minute left to go in the hunt to be able to pull that cast win off. So, but she's that type of female. I mean, she can do that alongside of, if you got a score on one, be able to win that cast as well.
You mentioned the sires, Steve, and Jamie, you did as well. It is fantastic to see 3 dogs in this final out of the top 3 sires of dogs that competed in our hunt this week. And it just goes to show that I feel like breeders out there, the female owners, are really taking it hard and trying to figure out how can we get the next best dog.
And what you have to remember also, and what our viewers need to remember also, is that last year's winner was by Little Money as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he could be, Little Money could have the last 2 years.
Last 2 years.
That's very neat as well.
It's rare.
I don't remember stud dogs being. I mean, I can go back a few years, maybe a decade or so, and say, yeah, this particular dog here sired his likeness or whatever else. Little Money was a champ. I judged him one night in the ACHA World Hunt or ACHA Little World Hunt there at Milton, Indiana, and he was on his home turf. But sometimes that don't matter, and I don't think it would have mattered that night. But Kevin Cable was hunting him, owned him, I believe, partnership with him, and that dog flew in there and treed 3 single coons. All we did was just walking to him, treed. And I don't remember if we hunted the full time or not, but my gosh, he put on a performance that I won't forget.
Yeah, you and I talked about that today. It's just, it seems almost as we say, the cream of the crop is rising. Just it's there for a reason, and it continues to show back up. We talk about the dogs being consistent in treeing coons, where we're seeing sires that are being consistent in producing the type of dog to win these events or to go out and tree 60-some coons in a row. That's a pleasure hunter or so that's pretty neat. Guys, before we get into tonight and before we take the opportunity to go to the field, and we're going to talk about that just in a moment, I want to mention tonight how proud UKC is to partner with Eukanuba. To remind our viewers tonight, Eukanuba is our official performance dog nutrition partner, and they do a wonderful job in partnering with UKC, and we want them to know that we appreciate them so very much. We also want to mention tonight a sponsor in Houndsman Advantage, and Houndsman Advantage is an app that you can download. It's an electronic scorecard, and we're very honored that Houndsman Advantage has partnered or has sponsored with us. As you can see, I'm supporting them tonight with my hat. And last night, it was very cool to sit at the headquarters. I know there was some trouble going on last night, but Matt is working hard to make that ride and to get that prepared for all of his subscribers. And I would just encourage you to stay on board with that and know that he's working hard for that. But I'm going to let both of you guys tonight. It was cool sitting there last night watching the one cast we know Steve was getting pretty excited in. And so I'm going to go to Steve first on this. But, I mean, that kind of was a game changer last night, sitting there watching that. And it was almost, it was kind of funny. There were still people standing there watching it. And the hunt was over with, and there was a lot of the cast were still sitting there. And I looked at Trevor and I said, do they think anything's going to change? There was people still just kind of glued to the TV. And so, Steve?
Well, hey, you know what? Again, it goes to the new technology that we're getting our hands on from an old school guy like me.
Old school.
Hunting 30 years ago and just seeing it transform to this. It's exciting. I know we had a few bugs last night. But I can share this, for the 2 or 3 of the cast and that we was able to watch it go live or whatever. This is going to be an exciting thing going forward, very exciting because for the viewer, I mean, all of us would love to be in that top 24. You shared the numbers earlier. There's 900 and some that would have traded places with them top 24. So for me, as a hunter competing in that, I may have went home at the zone level or whatever, but now to be able to tune in live and watch this unfold, watch the scores, being able to be updated. And there's a lot of things that on behind the scenes for the average person that doesn't see what goes on, from the guy that's out in the field, getting used to how these apps work, to making sure you stay up to date on that, to cell service working and letting the update come on that. But I'm very confident. I've known Matt and that crew for a long time. Watch their work ethics this weekend. They're going to get these bugs worked out, and I can tell you going forward, for me personally, from a hunter's perspective, this is going to be one of the more exciting things that we're going to be able to do at some of these hunts, where they can bring it live right into you. And we had 6 casts going on, and it was funny. There was 25 or 30 of us sitting around there, and as soon as the screen flinched, you're trying to figure out which cast, who just, what got updated, and because it changed the whole game.
It created a sense of excitement.
It did.
It did.
And of course, we had a few blue dogs that was competing last night, so, to watch a few of them, getting taken out early and one still being competitive or whatever, you can root for your fan favorite, but simultaneously watch what else is going on in some of these other ones. So
it created an excitement. There was an atmosphere there. And then something that I would say to you that you're spot on was watching Matt try to figure everything out to help his customer. And that's probably some things that people didn't see. They might have seen the bugs, but we got to see the inside part of it. And so I would just say to you again, we are very excited that Houndsman Advantage is a sponsor to UKC and a sponsor to the TOC. And we're going to be going to the field at different moments tonight. But before we get to the field, we want to again remind you that you're watching tonight the finals of the 2025 UKC Tournament of Champions here in Greencastle, Indiana. I will be your host, taking you through the night, along with Rick Stretch and Steve Burkholder. We're excited that you're with us. We're going to go to break, so make sure that you go grab you a Coke, go grab you a Diet Coke, whatever, and join us right back here. We'll see you just in a moment.
They're partners, ready to do whatever it takes. Athletes, that pound for pound can outrun, outwork, and outperform anybody you're watching on Sunday. No contract required. You don't waste that kind of potential. You train it, fuel it, unleash it. You feed nutrition that holds nothing back. The Eukanuba Premium Performance Lineup.
All right, well, we're excited that you're back with us. We are at the 2025 United Kennel Club Tournament of Champions in Greencastle, Indiana. I'm your host, Jamie Eastep, along with Rick Stretch and Steve Burkholder. We will be going live tonight as much as we can to the field. We want you to be able to see exactly what is happening out there, being able to get that feel, that anticipation, and we'll be getting you there just as quickly as we can. Before we go there, I want to remind you something that Steve said that kind of made my mind begin to think about the 900 and some people that registered, that entered for the TOC regions. I think there was 1,400 plus that qualified.
Right.
Just want to remind you, how do you get qualified for this? It's really a simple process. You go to local hunts at your area, your local, and you win 5+ point cast wins in the year previous. So right now you're competing to qualify for the 2026 UKC Tournament of Champions. All you have to do is win 5+ point cast wins, and you will be qualified for next spring's 2026 UKC Tournament of Champions. And so just think about that. 5 cast wins, and they're going to be eligible for $150, I think, this entry, and be able to compete for the grand total purse of $250,000.
You can call it $250,000.
That sounds a little better, don't it?
Sounds a little better to be $250,000.
$250,000. I've been corrected. Okay. Now, if you notice, I didn't go to Rick about the Houndsman Advantage scorecard last night because he worked so hard on Thursday night. He was in bed by 8 o'clock last night, and so
there's nothing wrong with that.
You was tired, wasn't you? You had to carry everything
I was
Thursday.
wore out. Well, I did double duty.
You did double duty.
I did double duty Thursday night, and I'm thinking that my check's going to reflect that.
You think so?
I think it might.
Well,
But
have you even got a check?
no,
No.
they haven't handed you yours yet, have they?
Yeah, I got mine.
No, I haven't.
I got mine when I showed up.
They may have to
Steve,
add it
I
in.
had Steve's, and I gave him his early too. I mean,
They probably added another 0 to mine or something.
Oh,
like
is that why it's,
Are we still on? right
yeah,
now?
we're still on.
Yeah, that I did go in early last night, and but I kept up with it. And if we had a worse place to pick for cell service, satellite service, whatever they want to call this technology, this is one of the worst places that we could have tried this out this time. And it did well. Yeah. It did well. It did way better than I thought. A year or two ago, we couldn't even make a phone call inside the building. You know, I believe last year is when they finally got some Wi-Fi out there, and it's touch and go out there. I mean, you're surrounded by hills and hollers and woods and everything they have done to improve it. They have been able to, but it's still weak. Their signal out there is weak. And if Matt can make this work kind of good in this area, think about where he goes everywhere else, where it's going to be flat, clear, and everything will be fine. And this thing's going to turn out okay.
All right. Well, now, last night, we had to watch it on the Houndsman Advantage, and we were glad. Sure. But now we're going to the field.
Look at that.
To our viewers, we're just getting ready to turn loose.
I have them delivered to the building. Grant called earlier. They're building benches and shit. So they're redoing a horse trailer. They're building shit out of my wood today. Oh, we using this strap lumber. It is. It was banded together. They have been chopping, building benches and redoing a horse trailer.
1 foot at a time.
Oh.
Guys just want to flip for it.
Best 2 out of 3.
I'm good.
Number 3 out of 5. I don't care.
I tried to do that with Van last night. He goes, "Oh, we'll lose my goal." Remember?
Yeah.
We're losing my goal. Shut in.
If he'd have said flip, you'd have crossed this like a mother. Let's flip for 50. You want to?
Oh, you're already a winner.
Yeah, we will.
Okay. All right, let's go, guys. All right. Where are we going, bud?
Right back here.
Oh, that's one man right here. That's
Copy, I got you.
Hey, Trevor. They said as soon as they walk, you can just give them kind of an update of what's going on. It's like a little.
yeah, right in there. Here, right in there, G. Let's go, Finn.
Take them right over that hill, fellas. Everybody collar? Cap them. Good luck, fellas.
Good luck, guys. Strickland Johnson.
Thank you.
Minute up.
Minutes up.
Dow struck.
100.
All right, guys, to our viewers, they have just released. We have Dow struck for 100. Pretty sure that was Dow as well.
Kind of nice.
As we had said earlier, they are hunting on the property of Keith, Jared, and Garrett Hutchinson, not actually very far from the headquarters, and great piece of property to hunt.
So we're into this 2 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. One dog struck.
I think we took bets on who was going to open first here.
Yeah, you got that.
That didn't take long.
Welcome back.
6.
For the viewers that are tuning in, the 6 minutes hasn't been applied, and that's just simply they have to bark once every 6 minutes. So that will be applied until the next dog opens.
And if they don't open, they'll receive a minus.
They'll receive a minus, and it can be
Did
any
you
of
get
the
checked
three.
for COVID this morning or not?
Do what?
Did you get checked for COVID this morning or not?
No, that's tomorrow. I don't have time today.
What do you mean tomorrow? You're surrounded by friends over there hacking around.
But any of the 3 dogs can open and have to be struck in. The 2 others that aren't struck in, even though they would open, they would have to be declared struck
To break the 6.
break the 6.
Yeah, correct. I'm a little bit surprised here with no more racket than what we're hearing.
Yeah, generally in the day and age that we live in, there's usually something in there
Yeah.
bumping around on something.
I'm sure that 6 is going to be moving fast
So-
on Jonathan.
You know, Austin mentioned that Cowboy likes to find his kind of coon, so we know he's burning the woods up trying to look for that.
I know in hunting with Ann, she always seemed to be a higher end strike dog.
Yeah.
You know. And unless game is not,
Broke.
Cowboy struck.
I was gonna say that sounded
75.
like a different dog.
So Cowboy struck for 75.
Do you think Jonathan took a big sigh of relief right now?
Oh my gosh. I don't even know what 2 or 3 minutes went by, maybe not even
Probably.
halfway. But you actually won Red Bone Days in this woods?
Yeah, when it was in Brazil.
I can't imagine you winning.
Do what?
What'd you hunt?
A red dog called Moonshine.
Oh, you
Jack
actually
Bean.
won the Red Bone.
Yeah. Jack had sold him to a guy in West Virginia.
Yeah. Fan struck.
Yep.
50.
You can hear her.
I'd like to know how far they're in.
I know it'd be kind of curious to see because it's the audio and what we see here is very good.
Yeah.
So we have all dogs struck right now.
They sound very close the way it, I mean, you know, it's kind of in the same general area.
Would you think that John sitting here knowing he's struck for 3rd, kind of pressure already this early in the cast like this?
He's got to be the most calm one of the 3, though, I would think. He's been there and done that, but sure is handy to have first strike on the first turn loose.
Fan tree.
125.
And she's a talking to him, Jamie.
She's the first one on the card on
Yeah.
the tree side.
Yeah.
So what would probably be in you said the time, how long did it take for them to get treed?
It's 9. They've been loose just
6 minutes.
6 minutes, roughly. Okay, is she going to get any company there or not? Not
Man,
likely.
I'm gonna say no.
Man, by looking at their cards all weekend, you know, most of them is, you know, I was going back through there when you said that, and I just don't see it. I don't see it with these 3 dogs. I could be wrong, but
She's got a little bit of.
you know, I will say on Thursday night, just looking at their cards here, looks like Dow was on one tree with another dog. And now I'm saying they all have first tree, so I'm not saying something didn't cover them.
Right.
But I just don't see a lot of that happening tonight with the dogs that we have.
And just to let our viewers know that might be new to this, when Ann was treed, she has to stay treed for 3 minutes, and in that 3 minutes, dogs can come to her. After 2 minutes, they'll only receive 25 tree points, but if they tree within that 3, they could go in for 75 and 50. Right now, she's got 50 and 125 pending.
You know, to your point that you brought that up, just going back through the cards real quick, all weekend of all the trees and games that they had scored, there was the Dow dog was with one other dog at one point. Other than that, these dogs was by themselves or had first tree on every single tree.
Yeah, they did. He said the studio wanted it whenever they got them moving after the cut.
And there's your app just popped up there, Jamie.
That's the Houndsman Advantage app right there that we get to see.
We're living it right now. There's your hunt time left at the bottom, and that kind of popped up.
Yeah.
And I think they told us last night in this setting it will update about every 20 seconds.
Okay.
Or maybe like right after a score, it will so it updates very quick. And then when they score this tree, it will come over to the total. So whatever happens to Annie's tree here, if it's plus or minus, it will come over to the
over the
total. If it's a circle tree, you won't see it.
Okay. So they started in just after 2 minutes. Is that what they're? Or 3 minutes?
Probably. That's what I would say. Because I don't think they'd stood there for 3.
I don't either.
So they'll probably stop again and let.
Full moon, Steve-O.
Just to give you guys, the viewers, kind of an idea, these 3 dogs have combined, they in 2 nights of hunting, in 3 rounds, have combined of making 27 trees.
And?
In 3 rounds of hunting. And out of them 27, 26 of them was first trees.
How many were plussed? Did you look at that?
I didn't look at that, but most of them.
Yeah.
And I would say John's feeling pretty confident going in here.
Yeah,
That dog is 60-some trees.
In 10 months, she's won guaranteed 20 tonight for 3rd place, 180-some thousand.
Everyone was plus except for 5 of them. So 21 out of
21 out of
26 was
That's
plus. That's why they're here for you.
Yeah.
So they're getting close to her. They'll get her handled here. How hard?
What?
Dog has pulled a minus all weekend.
There you go. There you go, Jamie. We talked about that.
What was it?
No minus on these dogs all weekend.
That must have found it already.
Yeah, walk down that ditch. You gotta go left.
Left.
They're leaving already?
Yes, and what coon was found immediately.
Yeah.
Whew.
And I know the viewers want to.
Short legs back up here.
Now we're going to get up here, and they're probably going to start the 6 on Dow.
But she can be released at any time. When
She can be released as soon as he
As soon as he feels he's far enough.
As soon as he's
can
ready,
release
it's his choice.
For some of the viewers, I know in the old.
There's Trevor. I was wondering where
in
he's
the old
at. There he
system,
is.
You had to hear.
You had to hear, but yes.
Yeah.
And go.
All right, guys, we're here. First tree of the 2025 TOC final cast. We just cut loose here. Dow got in for 100 right after the minute, followed by Cowboy for 75 and for 50. No longer after she got struck, she fell tree here. Just a couple 100 yards right behind us. We're already here. We already found the coon right away. She's been recast. Going to get back to where we last heard. Cowboy and Dow now.
That is just to update our viewers. That's Trevor Wade, UKC Coonhound Programs Manager. He's out there bringing us the live updates from the field. I think also, guys, we're going to be joined by Alan Gingrich at different points tonight on, and Alan is Vice President of Hunting Ops at UKC, and so he's going to be bringing us some information tonight as well. But right now you're seeing Trevor and the rest of the cast moving back to where they last heard or can get in hearing of Dow and Cowboy, and then they will apply the 6-minute rule.
Trevor does a fantastic job.
He does so much. He does so much for the organization and for us, and you know, it's just he was a great addition when they brought him on. Well, they're scattered out here now.
Yeah. Now, I bet you we got some hunters looking at some apps on their phone, on their Garmins to see where. You need to call my wife for me and tell her that I'm sick.
I would say the viewers are getting tired of hearing you hack around, be my guess. I don't know. You may not be able to come back after the first hour.
And the owl in the background.
So here we're at back in.
So you see how they slid Ann over to 175.
There's our time at the bottom there.
Yeah.
And what that time is when they update the score. That was the time that was left in the hunt at the time of the
At the
update.
time they entered that, moved that score.
Yes.
Okay. Which could have been a few minutes ago. We've been, we turned loose at 9:43.
So what we got? We used about 20 minutes, 15. Yeah, it's not even quite. So guys, we got Ann with 175 plus, and we have Dow has 100 strike, and Cowboy has 75, and we're just kind of waiting to see. Ann has been recut, so she could come back in again at any time. Now, what do you think? What do you think Jonathan and Austin's thinking right now? What do you think's going through their minds?
Well, they realize at this point in time they can make no mistakes, because a mistake right now obviously is not what got them here. By making no mistakes got them here, but it's still early in the game. Anything can change, but certainly it looks to me like they're walking, probably trying to tighten up to where they're at, maybe getting a little bit better position.
What didn't two dogs do when Ann come treated there, Steve? I mean,
They vacated the area.
Huh?
I would assume that they vacated the area, but again, we don't know how far they was in, but it did seem that when she come treed, that they kind of moved out from
That
there.
was the end of us hearing them at the moment.
At the moment, and I can tell you by listening to Jonathan share a little bit, you know, his was getting what, you know, he said 0.6, 0.9, and this is probably going to be one of them moments, so it could be a walk here.
25 years ago, we'd have had all three dogs on the same tree right there. It's amazing how our hounds and hunters have, I'm not going to use the word program, but maybe tree, and it's bred in some of them to be socially awkward, or awkward, I guess the word would be, not want to be hanging around with other dogs.
You know, I was sitting here thinking earlier tonight, just obviously as an avid houndsman, and obviously have breed preferences. I'm obviously, as most people know, a blue tick fancier, have been for most of my life, all of my life, I guess you could say, since I enjoyed following a hound. But you really, I mean, looking at how these dogs, how they got here, the pedigrees and stuff, you really have to give the Walker fancier, you have to give them credit as a whole. I mean, there's a reason why they are on top. There is a reason why they're dominating these hunts. And, you know, they work together. They work together. They're taking the best of the best and mating it with the best of the best, and we're producing results like this. And so it's just really a huge testament to those that are willing to maybe swallow a little pride, I guess you could say, and take their good females and breed it to a dog that may not be exactly, you know, their preference, but know the results are going to produce what they have.
So they must have got back to where they want to play some time on the dogs, score the dogs. We'll see if we can hear anything. This will be a real interesting few minutes for Dow and Cowboy.
So, Jamie, would you say this is the same place they went last year? Mm-hmm. So it is hilly in there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's steep hills.
It's, if you just look, if you're driving in on River Road, if you look across that river, it's just kind of that terrain.
Oh, that's the bottom empties into the woods.
Bottom
And that's
into the mountains
okay.
and or hills right through there.
Yeah.
And it might even be, that's part of it right there. It's not very far over there, so that kind of gives you a feel of what they're hunting. So viewers right now,
Yeah, sure guys are serious. I didn't hear you say that.
Now, one of the hunters asked if you hear down, and they wanted to walk on, so I don't know if the judge actually heard a dog.
so guys, if you're watching this, they're moving into place. They may have heard Dow. We're just not for sure of that.
Just that. Yep, thank you.
So we're obviously getting through the. We're on the move here, but are we keeping Ann within hearing range?
I was thinking the same
You
thing.
know?
So we're back to, we've stopped again. I'm just not for sure if he took the call that he heard. Well,
They haven't updated the. So in this situation here, if they just took a minus, we'd just see it on the.
we would see it on the app if
Yeah.
we know it.
Yeah.
I know at one point I mentioned, he said, "Do you hear me in there?
Oh,
Can we walk and tighten up closer?" And I heard someone say, I didn't hear, I don't know if it was a judge, heard someone say, I didn't hear it. But they're obviously walking, one would think that they wouldn't be walking on their six, and this, but maybe they are.
I would say, yeah. 6, if they're running, it has to be getting close. Would think.
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
No. The report that we hear,
We just want to give them an update kind of what we're doing.
the report that we got from the field
It's
that
gonna
the
be
6
verbally,
is running.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 6 is running right now. Just walking, using the 6 to walk a little closer, see if we can hear one of these hounds.
I feel like we need to be quiet because I'm trying to listen
Trying
to
to
one of
listen
them
for
too.
'em
You know,
too.
if they miss a barking and maybe I'm the one to hear it, there we are. You know, won't be able to let them know.
You want to text them and tell them you hear them deep.
Well, I do, but I can't. Give me your phone, I'll do it. From yours.
And just to catch up, the 6 is only running on Dow and Cowboy. Ann has not been struck back in. But Ann could break the 6 if she opened in this time frame as well.
So you have to assume that they did hurt him at one point. Haven't we been over 6 minutes away from Ann's tree?
100%.
Wherever they got back to where they last heard him, maybe it might have been a 2-minute walk or something.
Well, the dogs have been off. They've been off the chain for roughly, you figure, 24 minutes. When we had the update at 1:49, the tree was scored at that point.
Right.
So they definitely heard the dogs at some point in that time frame.
Yeah.
Did they get up on a little road or something? Let's see. So now you would think they're just in the position the last few minutes of their 6, probably. It'd be interesting to see if Ann has went totally the other direction.
Yeah.
Drop off right there. Right here. Yeah. Drop off there. I think I spoke to the agent earlier.
On the move again, I couldn't tell if they heard one or not. So our cameraman is, Cody out there in the woods tonight with the camera is also our cameraman's son. Did you put that together today? I can still remember Cody crossing that river whenever Conor McGregor won the hunt. Had that camera up high on his shoulder.
They've had to hear. I mean, I would think they've had to hear them. Because they're walking longer than 6 minutes. And the thing is, if they do come into hearing of one of these dogs and they're treed, that's going to pop them ahead of Ann.
Right, either one of them.
Either one of them. And then which way will they cut?
Yeah.
All right, let's see what happens, guys.
antenna John's got on his drum. It looks
John
like
got
it's
open
4
just
foot
now.
wide. No, so they did hear one. Yeah, I hear one now, finally.
Sounded like Dow, I think, from the beginning.
What'd you hear, Steve?
Dow tree 120.
Dow tree?
This could be.
That just was loud.
Rick, give our viewers, where do you think we're at on time right now?
What was it, 9:43, I believe we turned loose. And I got 10, 12. 12 and 17. 29.
About 30 minutes.
About 30 minutes.
That's Cowboy.
It did sound like there was a second one in
Second
there.
dog, I thought I
Certainly
heard.
opening up in there.
I thought I heard.
So guys, to our viewers, we know we have Dow tree for 125 now. We think Cowboy is close.
And no end.
John might need his 4-foot antenna.
As you can see on the app now, the 125 tree has been moved over there, and that score is pending. One. I would say at this point in time, John is hoping that he can, his is probably a different direction, hoping to get her struck before they drop over this, wherever he just tree that on that.
See, as we're walking into our second tree of the night, we've used right at about 30, so we can see the time has updated now. 1:31 left at the point when they tree Dow. So we, 1 hour and 31 minutes left when Dow was treed. We're going to go to a break for like a 30-second spot here, guys. We want you to stay with us. We'll come back. We'll let you know what happens on Dow's tree, and we'll see where Cowboy and Ann play into this. Again, you're watching the 2025 UKC Tournament of Champions. I'm your host, Jamie Estep, along with the panel. And we're excited to have Mr. Steve Burkholder and Rick Stretch with us, and we want you to come back and join us.
Your puppy only gets one start to set the foundation for a lifetime of performance at your side. Fuel growth and activity, support digestive health, and give him a training edge to one day flush, point, track, retrieve. So when the gear comes out, he'll be ready. Make every milestone count with game-changing puppy fuel. Eukanuba Premium Performance Puppy Pro.
The 2025 UKC Tournament of Champions. As you can see before you, we have the scorecard. Right now, when we get back to the field, we know that we have the cast walking into Dow, being treed. He's holding 100 and a 125, so that tells us he has 225 pending. And we know that Cowboy is struck for 75. We were able to be live, and we did hear that they had heard Cowboy maybe near his tree or just a little bit of a different direction maybe, but we do know we have Cowboy back in play. And so we're going to go right back to the field and watch these guys head into Dow's tree. Would have thought we would be able to hear him.
Mm-hmm. You know, right before we went to break there, we had 3 different things going on the screen. You know, now who would have thought? When would this all ever make it coon hunting? You know,
and it's awesome. It's amazing.
You know, you got the scorecard there. You got live action. You got us goofing around and
enjoying it. Hopefully as much as they are.
Yeah.
And so far, you know, we've had very good coverage.
Yeah.
Or, you know, with the cell service.
Stay on the ridge as far as we can walk.
I'd say that as a guide, just kind of sharing with them to maybe take a little bit of a detour walking into them, staying on a ridge as long as they can before they drop down.
So we have 3 judges out there tonight.
Oh, okay.
We have Tyler Pettit is our lead judge, and then our 2 backup judges is Jason Roberts and Kevin Cable. And all 3 of those guys are
I'm trying to stay back because I couldn't hear nothing.
very capable.
I watched Kevin today. He went through the food line 2 or 3 times. I don't know if anybody else was counting it or not, but I noticed that he went through the food line. He's probably got the energy built up right now to where he can keep up.
Well, you know, talking of Kevin, this has got to be a pretty awesome moment for him.
Sure.
You know, Little Money's a dog that he competed with for a lot of hounds. You know, obviously he's off a big money from my understanding.
Yeah.
So this dog would be 3 generations. So walking along on this, you got to be very, very excited, satisfying, gratifying.
Yeah.
As well.
Starting to drop down and maybe get some cell service not being so great here.
Well, you called that. Why would you say that?
I live in West Virginia. I can see it.
I don't understand why you predict bad news. Now we're back up.
I tried to predict the dead cast Thursday night, so you got to buy my dinner.
That was one of your best moments Thursday night. You had 2 or 3 bad moments there Thursday night. Barely hearing, maybe.
So it sounds from the hill that they are closing in on this tree, possibly as little as 100 yards left to close in on here. So I can guarantee you, Jonathan, all he wants to do at this point in time is get his hands on Dow and get him leashed up and start shining.
Yeah.
For sure.
You can hear him now.
Yeah, boy. Right about right there, Jamie, is where we would lose you. See how it's starting to get kind of steep right there? That's about, you guys go on in all the way up here.
I would get there fast going down, but coming up might be the.
Well, he's a nice tree dog, isn't he?
Yeah.
Looks like a.
What a shot. That is awesome to be able to be 10 miles from them and see this right here.
I got him already. That didn't take long.
Right there it is.
I guarantee the old pitter patter just slowed down. The old ticker just started easing up just a hair. Great job, Dow. Ann and Dow both on the board now. I'm sure Austin is sitting there straining, hearing.
We possibly could have heard him up there in the field.
Well, I believe that certainly was a second dog.
Yeah.
So guys, our scorecard will come up just in a moment, but to update our viewers, that took Dow to 225 plus, and we have Ann with 175 plus. So there's our scorecard, and we've used an hour. We got an hour and 21 minutes left, and now we only have Cowboy with 75 strike. So we'll see if we can get Ann back in play. I have a feeling Ann's probably struck, but can we get her back in play? And we'll see what happens with Dow. Which way do they send him?
From my understanding, in talking to Josh, the other owner, is that correct? Josh is I believe. They've only really been competing this dog just in a handful of hunts.
They had said it.
He's young, 19 months old.
Hadn't been but just a few months.
Yeah, I think they hunted him enough last year to get him qualified, obviously, for the TOC, but then kind of ran into a snag with him and kind of laid him up and just kind of now are back to.
You realize these three dogs right here are already qualified just from this weekend for the TOC.
Yeah.
They, they had 2 wins at the region, and then three last night.
3 last night.
And there's your 5 right there.
Yeah, incredible.
And
so now they're back up, and he hasn't. He's getting ready to release him now.
I've seen that, what that dog's doing right there, I've seen a lot of dogs do that. And where they didn't fire off with that crowd or the lights.
Well, again, he's a young dog, but even bigger than that is sometimes a dog, when we hunt so much, in this, I'm not saying in this situation, but I've never really been, you can put too good of a handle on a dog sometimes.
Yeah.
Some people don't put a lead on their dog when they lead them out. They want them to handle that good, but you can get in a situation where now all of a sudden you start walking, you know what I mean, and they think you're walking back out, to the cast. So I can guarantee you, certainly right now, Jonathan is sitting there trying to figure out, what do I do in this situation?
Yeah.
Other than just keep walking toward it.
What are you doing in this situation? I'll ask you. I mean, I know what I would do.
I'm hoping that at this point in time, one of them guys wants to stop and listen. Or as a handler, I'm saying, hey, is the 6 running on this other dog? I'm going to do anything I can, or I'm going to share. You want to. Usually, if you stop there in that situation, the dog will then release on out of there.
That's exactly what I would have asked
It looks like he's cut. It looks
Yeah,
like he's cut out now.
Yeah,
Yep, 15 broke.
there you go. They did have the time started on it,
Yeah.
you know, but Judge put it on him pretty quick, and
Now,
that's what should have happened.
Can you, one of you guys maybe explain the 15? Is a dog has to hunt if they don't hunt consecutively for a time frame, they obviously would get scratched and removed from the hunt.
So now to our viewers, we have Ann loose, not struck. We have Dow back loose, not struck. We know we have Cowboy struck at 75, and I'm assuming they're moving back into position to put the 6 on him, score him. Will it bring Ann back into play? We know Dow is in play in hearing of where he's at right now. So be a lot of different scenarios play out. Where are we at on time right now? We probably used, what, 45 minutes, I would say?
Right at 45. We've used close to it.
Yeah. So we're not at the halfway point yet, but we're getting very close to it.
Yeah, it's all. Been walking pretty steady ever since they turned loose, Jamie.
Yeah.
I just can't see you being up in that crowd like that. And I mean, 40 years ago maybe I'd see you like that, but I'm not right now. I'm not.
Where would you be at? Down at the bottom of that hill?
I'd be blowing the horn right now. Get back here. Get back here. No, I tell you.
I would be call. You know what I would be doing? I would be calling you to say, "Come pick me up," and that's.
One of our very own, he's actually Alan Gingrich was actually one of the in 2000 when I was in the World Hunt in the final cast. Alan was he was actually one of our judges. That's kind of how that interesting everything comes into full circle. Because I was a young man then, still am most days, I guess you could say. But walking in this type of situation, you know, you're young and your excitement or whatever. And I remember the judges in this situation a couple times having to tell me to roar up and calm down a little bit because, you know, it's kind of getting in front of the cast. So, you know, fast forward now, me and Rick was having a conversation earlier today that now I'm just, you know, now it's just try to keep up with these things. Yeah, I tell you, they come on. It's amazing how it's changed, but I tell you, it's still enjoy this part of it right here. Still very enjoyable.
I don't know how old John is, but I'm assuming he's probably the oldest one out there tonight. Yeah.
I know he's a few years older than me.
He's right up there with him. He would be in his early 50s?
I'm gonna say probably. I think John's in his mid to late 50s.
Okay.
I think, from my understanding.
Okay. So these guys know where their dogs are at. They know which direction they went, and here we sat. You know, we're trying to put it together. What might be going on?
All right, we're listening. I think did Tyler say 6?
And struck.
I knew that was
And
coming.
struck.
Yep.
Yeah. If you let me walk to that tree line, I'll give you a call. But you got me right.
He asked to hear him again.
I heard her bark the one time right when you struck her.
You hear that dog? Hey. I heard that one time when you struck.
Right.
Can we walk to that?
Right. I heard him.
tree line?
I heard her when he struck.
She's treed every breath that I can hear, but I'm tuned into her. We walk that tree line.
Your ears tuned to her.
Yeah.
So, here's an interesting fact. The handler gets in tune with his dog and can hear it better than anybody else out there. Agree or not?
Well, I think that every dog's tone is different.
Yeah.
I really believe that. And, you know, when you're used to hearing that tone, you just tend to be able to pick them out. Now, I will say this, sometimes you think you're hearing that tone and it, you know.
Then you're not?
Then you're not. You know, I guess that's the light way to put it. But I'm going to be honest with you, for John here in this situation, hearing that dog in that when sometimes the wind has to just be perfect. You know, obviously the sound has to be perfect, and you can hear a dog maybe a bark or two or three, but at least they know the direction that she is, and it allows them to walk toward the last dog that they heard.
Yeah.
So if we look now, Ann comes back in for a 50 strike because 50 had been scored,
Right.
but she can't go over the 75 because she can't get struck back in over the 75 it's been holding.
Which way are you, Austin? Which way?
It's a hard predicament that you put a judge in that the dogs, the game don't seem to be quite as cooperative tonight as it was, you know, the last night
No.
and the night before, but
Yeah.
puts a judge in a hard spot.
You know, because we can't, you know, obviously, for the viewers out there, they have telemetry that they use.
Yeah.
So they're being able to track their hounds and kind of know the direction that they're in, but you can't use them in scoring situations.
Six is working. Now we can walk. Y'all gonna walk now? I don't hear nothing. I heard it right there. That's the only reason I took off. I did it just like always.
Like you said, judging these, it's tough. It is tough as a judge.
I'd rather be on an action-packed cast, just call after call after call, than to be in Tyler's position right now where you're
100%.
straining, trying to hear.
And for those that know Tyler, Tyler is a very capable judge of handling this situation. Always does a great job. Has judged many Final Fours, and certainly will do an excellent job here as well.
Did he win one of the, Jamie, did he win one of the hunts down at the
Winter Classic?
Yeah, which one was that?
The early slams.
Early slams?
I think he's won it 2 years in a row.
I think you're right.
I think he won it.
That's right.
Tyler is a very good judge. He judged the final cast of Autumn Oaks in 16 when I won it, so he does a good job.
In listening to Strickland ask, or John sharing with the judge, do you hear her there? She's treed every breath. I mean, because he's obviously tuned into her. The 6 is running. You can walk on your 6. Now, for me, knowing that as a handler, Rick and Jamie, I think for me, I'm gonna walk the bulk of that 6.
Sure. If the judge is not tuned in, can't it not be able to
100%. So, and the reason for it is right now that's the only dog that they're hearing. They obviously haven't heard Cowboy in a while. You know, on that side of it. So,
Just the closer you can get, the more you take the opportunity to put her into play.
Well, let's go back through here, right?
I believe the Dow dog got struck back in for a quarter.
I think so.
Now, in his situation, he's probably glad to be struck for a quarter, I would think.
Yeah, he didn't need a first strike at all, which he couldn't get it anyways. But
You hear me over that hill? If we can tighten up and split the difference, that'd be great.
By the time we get one of these dogs scored, we're definitely going to be past the halfway point.
yeah, yeah. You know, if she is treeing, and I don't have no reason to doubt what John did there, possibly she's treed in the bottom of a tree, possibly up in a tree, or it could be anywhere that would be distorting her sound to the point of you can hear her good back there. You're not hearing her so good up here.
One thing I want to say too, and we've talked about a lot of thank yous and stuff, but to this production team tonight, I mean, this is the most we've been able to be in the field of any of them that we've done.
100%. I mean, just out of curiosity, is Ann restruck for 50 or restruck for a quarter?
50.
She's restruck for 50. Yes.
Yep.
And Dow is struck for 25. And so what you see here is the scorecard of where we're setting at tonight. Just to remind you guys that Dow has 225 plus, and he just struck back in for 25. And then we drop down to Cowboy. Cowboy is the only one that's not on the card of either a plus or a minus or circle. He's still holding 75. We're not really for sure where Cowboy is at. Ann is at 50 plus on the strike, 125 on the tree, so she's got 175 plus. She is struck back in for 50 because her 50 came open when it was scored, so she could go back in for
Next
50.
available.
Next available, which was 50. She couldn't jump 75. Now, if you want to notice something, even though we don't have a fourth dog on the cast, we still have the fourth strike available, and that's what Dow went in for because he couldn't go in.
He can't strike above
He
Ann.
can't strike above Ann.
Yeah.
And so we've got Dow sitting at 25, and it'll be very interesting to see who's going to get treed next, and so that's where we're at on the score right now. We have 225 plus for Dow and 175 plus for Ann. And we have no trees right now pending, so we're just trying to get everybody in position to hear dogs.
So
Austin.
It's really kind of not either Cowboy's out of pocket, but you know it's really rare. Looking at these dogs' scorecards and stuff, for him to almost an hour in his hunt, you know, not to be on the card other than just struck. And it can happen. We had that happen in a few cases last night, for sure.
So that's a little cleaner card right there, more of an update type thing.
125. I do got you. I've heard him the whole time.
which one?
So I think that was Ann, right?
He's not.
It's-
And trees for 125.
So if you look at your
So they treat them
time,
both. They
I
got
I
Dow
believe
and-
both. I
yeah,
believe
they treat both dogs
I believe both dogs have been declared treat.
and not on the same tree.
No, I wouldn't think on the same tree.
They-
And what's
So Dow struck for a quarter and struck for 50. What's that?
so, from our understanding, from the viewer standpoint,
16 seconds apart.
No, okay,
So they both
they
are
may
trees.
be.
so Dow was treed first here.
Struck for 25, tree for 125, and struck for 50, tree for 140. Split tree, right, 700.
and if you look at the time, guys, as we said, we're definitely going to pull off these two trees, and we're going to be under the halfway point. We're at about an hour and 7 minutes at the last call.
I'm gonna go with them so I don't have to walk from here and then go back.
So now we have probably we have.
Here's an update from Trevor.
All right, guys, we're here in the middle of this field. We got a couple of dogs treed around us. After Dow was recut, Ann got struck in for 50. Dow got struck in for a quarter. Dow was treed in to our left, and then Ann was treed in 16 seconds later to the right. We got half our cast going to score Dow first. Afterwards, we'll head over and score Ann. About to get interesting.
It's about to get really interesting for Cowboy. Now, let me ask you guys a question. We go in here and we score Dow's tree. Dow has a coon. Would you opt to lead into Ann to see what she has, or would you just turn in?
Since it's Ann, I think I'm turning.
I think
you need every minute of a 2-hour event to beat Ann.
I would agree.
You know what we've seen. What we've seen in the past. I'm not saying tonight, but history will show you that you need 2 hours to beat Ann, and he'll be in a good place.
Well, for me, understanding the situation that you have here, obviously you have a dog at large. That's obviously he's either out of here because we haven't heard from Cowboy. Dow. From a hunter's perspective, there's a little less than an hour left to go in the hunt. Once they get it scored, you got to get them back off the lead. No two ways around it.
We're probably. I'd like to know what Trevor thinks our time would be down to Dow, back to Ann, and then back to where we last heard Cowboy. What our time frame would be.
Yeah.
But
we're right at an hour, and according to what I recorded when we cut loose, we're right at an hour left to go in the hunt.
The trees aren't plus, Steve, but on our mock scorecard here, plus those trees, and then what's the score? Both trees.
Well, Dow is going to end up being at 375, and Ann's going to be at 300.
Okay. So when they come off Ann's tree, John's just not going to lead his. If both of them score plus.
Yeah, and one of the scenarios, out there that's working right now is we do have a dog out there in Cowboy that's holding 75 strike. You know what I mean?
Now, Jamie, he's been holding that for an hour.
I was sitting here thinking. What's going to do.
The scenario when they turn back loose.
That's why I'm saying it becomes huge now.
Yeah. And that scenario would be that the strike's back open. Yeah.
He keeps his.
He keeps his.
Yeah.
But those two can go back in for first and second. We'd have two dogs at that point.
That's why I say, Jonathan, I think he's in this hunt with nothing to lose. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that mine is treed. And here's the deal. Think about this. There is a case scenario where these dogs have all pulled a circle tree at some point during the night. If you get treed, even if you go in there and it's a circle tree, you have a chance to rebound from it.
We just got an update from the field that Cowboy is over a mile away. So we're getting into hearing of him now. You're going to think, we're going to be less than 45 minutes probably, maybe even more than that.
Well,
you score these two. Yeah. You score these two. You could be nearing 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Left in the hunt.
You left in the hunt by the time you score these two dogs. It shouldn't take long to score it.
Rick, what do you treat first in this situation? Sitting there in that scenario, what do you treat?
Well, you're talking about Dow? Here's the Dow dog?
Yeah. It's a toss-up, right?
Just quickly thinking through it, I don't see the value of waiting for
Both of them are
John
tree,
tree.
you know.
If you let John tree first, now he's going to get cut back loose.
Yeah.
And then you're coming to. I think the
But,
scenario favors Dow here.
Well, I mean, it definitely does now. But what I'm saying is in that
They
spot.
must have. They must have already seen it or done something.
I don't want to cut him the way we're going to walk, is what I'm saying. I don't want to walk on top of it.
So he's gonna get recut. I would assume, one would assume they found a coon right away.
Yeah. I just think that in this position, I just think I would recut knowing what I'm hunting against.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And you heard what he's saying. He doesn't want to have to cut the way that they're walking, which is understandable. You got all these lights and stuff like that.
But they're going to charge back to Ann. And, you know, he got a slow start there out in that field, but we might see a different dog in this woods here or something. And I would think that his minute would be.
It's not updated yet. We haven't got a report yet, but if it's a.
Do they can walk up to a minute or out a minute? They can walk however far they want.
There's no time.
There's no time limit. It's a comfortable, you know. I would think we're getting close to see him recut. I'm just wondering if we missed something on
where he might have changed his mind
of him electing to stay.
Well, you're hearing Ann in the background, I think.
That what we want to do? Had it walk along this end.
You got woods, you got fields, Jamie. I haven't seen any water yet, but got a little bit of different style of terrain for these dogs to navigate in.
This dog probably coming out of East Tennessee's at home and that.
Yeah, probably so.
And in all actuality, if you think about, if you think about it, he's sitting at 375 now. You know, he's sitting at 375, and Ann is going to end up being at 175, 350.
Yeah.
So I had that wrong. So yeah, man, he would, you know, that getting struck back in could really play a big role here.
We did get updated now. It was a plus tree. So we
had a similar situation last year, wasn't it, Steve?
Yeah,
Where Oliver and Dustin.
Now he is going to. It looks like he's going to cut him. So maybe Tyler was just wanting to get him.
And there's the normal way he leaves out, probably.
Now in this situation, I think if we missed a couple of things here like that, they was probably trying to get the dog back a little bit to the area to hunt where they're trying to hunt at. And there's really no set rule on.
But if he was satisfied, he could have turned loose any moment.
Any moment.
Okay.
And he could have chose to elect to lead into.
And lead into Ann. Correct.
Now, if Ann with Cowboy down, and if Ann would have gotten down, then he would have had to have cut.
I think the scenario was it last year where Oliver led Z into another little money.
Yeah,
pup.
and that changed the whole.
That changed the whole.
That changed the outcome big time.
Yeah.
So we know we've got John already at Ann's with one of the judges.
Correct.
And so we're just we're on our way to Ann's tree right now. Ann's probably been treed close to, I would say 45 minutes, probably at least.
Well, I'm not sure how we
She's been treated good while.
Yeah. She's been treated just about as long as you've been coughing around.
Probably long. I've probably been coughing longer.
Don't they allow you to take like personal time off if you're not feeling well? Steve and I could have handled this perfectly.
I'm the boss. I don't get to take. I thought, oh, you're talking about at school or church.
No, I'm saying tonight, I'm thinking you could have took a little PTO time or something, or sick time or something. I can promise you this, I start coughing on the way home tomorrow.
You gonna call me?
And I'm calling you. And I'm charging my medication to you.
I should have just let you drink out of my cup tonight.
All right, we got an update for y'all if y'all are ready.
We're ready, aren't we, Steve?
They've lost Trevor now.
Hey, so we just got done scoring Dow. He had another coon. He's recast, heading to end now to score her tree. Just a couple 100 yards away on the other side of this field.
There you go. We don't have to see him get scored.
That's right.
Only the judge needs to.
And in this situation, just for the viewers or whatever, just when you're in a cast we're hunting in the, a non-hunting judge, meaning that this is a judge that doesn't have a dog participating. John was sent to handle his dog, and he will stay at that tree until the judge comes in there then to score that tree.
Right.
As the judge and the other cast members went on through and scored the other tree in this scenario. There's really no reason for John to have to come over there and score that tree.
Right.
Just
There's no accumulation of votes or anything like that. It's totally up to the lead judge how the tree gets scored.
So at a couple 100 yards, they should be making some distance.
Yeah.
you got to feel for the Cowboy dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is just one of them breaks when you hunt the style of dogs that we hunt. And we often hear the term sitting in there deep with two looking down. Well, sometimes when they sit in deep like that, it can certainly hurt. In that situation.
But if he stays out of pocket, that's probably the best out of pocket feeling of $20,000 to
he's no loser.
Yeah, he's no loser.
He might not win first, but he's not a loser.
That's right. This would be an interesting tree right here.
And put them within 25 each other. She has the
goods.
Yeah.
And they're in a very good area to have.
Yeah.
Well. And I would say she's been sitting here for a while.
John's wondering what's taking so long. Huh? What's taking so long? I like her tree style.
That's a beautiful picture.
Suzanne must have took that lead.
I don't think it took much.
Man, dead in a hole. He wanted to walk down through here instead.
Well, he told her that. He didn't. He was tricking her.
Dead. Hey, no. Dead. Oh, let's go.
375, 350. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. She was plussed on that tree. So she was plus strike and tree. And he's obviously going to take her cut her down through there. And then they obviously from that point would have to go back to, I guess, were the kind of the last time they heard Cowboy, unless something gets struck, obviously, in that time frame.
And then you're going to try to split the difference.
But you can see its little train is a little hilly there.
I was thinking I was hearing a dog or a mule braying, one of the two.
100 strike is open.
Yeah, because he's been practicing overnight. You got me. You got me. Straight through here. Hey, John, hold up. No, hold on, listen.
That dog we're hearing ain't in the cast. That dog's in a house or something.
So now, viewers, since Cowboy is held,
Do I still hold mine?
Yes, sir. Yeah. It just opens back up. Ain't it just 75 and ain't 100?
No, 100's open to these guys.
Even though he's packing 75?
Because he tells us an hour.
Rules knowledge. How important does it play? You know, your life is so much easier when you're a competitor when you have a good feel for the good knowledge of the rules.
it's kind of interesting. We're seeing a rule applied tonight that was questioned just a little bit last night on.
I don't at the moment.
6 is working. We can tighten up or whatever you want to do. And the marathon continues.
Dow struck.
100.
Good job, bud. Thank you. You too.
Yeah.
Hey, one of them is sitting there nervous right now. He can't think, and the other one's just sitting there going, "We got an hour left. What's going to happen this next hour?"
You get there, got another one.
Now John's going to start messing with him a little bit.
This is the gamesmanship that
Trying to
comes
help
with it.
him.
I can't get that. I'll put it on.
He getting his breath, or what's he doing?
Okay. All right, guys, we just made it into Ann's tree. Again, found her coon right away. They're finding these coons right away. Dogs are doing a great job. Cowboy's been holding this strike for over an hour, so that opens up everything. They cut the dogs loose. Dow actually got struck for 100 right here. So Gentry's trying to hear Cowboy. He's over a mile away, trying to get to hear him, but that's where we're at right now.
So if I was Gentry, would it be okay if I said, "Hey, let's split the difference"? Or
Oh, I would
something
be
here?
welcome.
I'd be headed that way.
I wouldn't be giving up this quick.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
But these two guys are happy camping right here.
Well, he's saying he didn't.
I don't want to walk down. We're gonna have to go around mine.
Yeah, we're talking about it now. So maybe they're able to hear what we're saying.
Now, one would think, I don't know though, you still got to be
Hunt time. 9:43. It's now 11.
About
17, an hour and 17 went by.
Went by, yeah. So they got about 43 minutes left. Anything can happen here.
I was going to put stationery on.
Was there any food left out there whenever you left tonight? You should have grabbed a couple of them bowls or something and brought over here for us to munch on.
Stationery's on the boat.
I got some stuff in my truck. Commercial and run get it.
I wouldn't wait on commercial. I'd just go get it right now. No more than you're doing. Starting to get a little dry throat.
You guys are
I do believe in listening to the field out there. I believe that they had. I'm not so sure that the stationery may not have been implied
Only so much gas.
on
It
Be on
could
Dow.
have.
Dow.
I got some cough drops. You want one? They're really helping me.
3, Dale.
And he's treating Dow.
Man, he didn't wait around.
And he's treating Dow. Exactly what I was wondering if it would happen or not.
Well, I think they had the stationery from what I was listening to.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, which Scott broke, obviously, because he just treated him just now. But yes, stationery was running. He probably said, you know what, there's no sense in sitting here.
He's got me this far. He's got me this far. He's going to have another raccoon.
Wonder what's going through his mind right now, Jonathan's mind.
He's
Is
praying
it-
it ain't a blank. I can tell you that. He's got a direct line. Praying it's not a
the
blank.
camera's right on him right
Yeah.
now.
Sweat's popping out of him.
There's a lane right there. We'll take it to that wide open field right on top.
I'm good. You good, John?
At this point, John will take a mistake by a dog or a handler
Yeah.
over his treeing another coon at this point.
Everybody knows their dogs and stuff like that, but you know, stationery is running like that. You got 45 minutes left to hunt. Right now, you're thinking leading the cast. I'm just trying for this thing to end. Would you, in this case scenario, Rick, just over your years from hunting, would you let that stationery run down quite a bit more?
Probably not. I mean, you've got, I mean, it would make the best sense, probably, Steve. But I probably wouldn't because that dog's got him where he's at right now, you know, and he's probably not going to go nowhere. He probably hasn't left a tree in 5 casts. And I would probably go ahead and tree, get that clock running, get down there, get him petted up a little bit, shine the tree. Hopefully it's good for him, you know, if I'm Jonathan, and then lead him out, get another fresh start on him.
Yeah.
All right, so just for our viewers now, we have Dow with 100 strike and 125 tree. That's pending, and they're walking to Dow right now. We still have Cowboy sitting at 75, and the reports we're getting is Cowboys, you know, a mile or so in away. And then we have Ann with, Ann's not struck back in. She's clean right now. She is scored on everything. And so we'll come off this tree, and it'd be interesting, as you said just a moment ago, you know, this ain't the time to make a blank.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you know, you got 2 prayers going on out there right now. John's praying for a blank, and Jonathan's
I don't
not.
know. Hey,
And
I don't know, you know, with John hunting with him over the years, you know, all the times I've hunted with him, always been a gracious loser.
Sure.
I mean, if a dog outperforms him, he's the first one to go up and shake their hand and say good job because he's going to another one next weekend. So, you know, I just think that, you know, you can play a lot of different scenarios out. But ultimately, at the end of the day, striking a tree and your dog got you this far. Sometimes when you really start playing them scenarios, sometimes it can almost hurt you more than it can help you on that side of it. So
we are, with our viewers, as we've been talking to you, we're probably less than 45 minutes away. So this, the 2025 UKC Tournament of Champions is nearing an end, and a lot of time left for a lot of things to happen. But we're getting close to crowning that winner and giving away the total purse of $250,000. See, I said
incredible,
it right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's incredible.
and,
For $150.
all right, so we're here. We're here.
And I'm telling you, they wasn't there long from what it looks like to me.
Is he score or just trying to get him tied up?
No, he's hooking him up.
Here. Hello, everybody.
We haven't seen the first drop of water tonight. You notice that? They got 5 inches there a week ago. That's a good shot of him right there. Yeah, 30 seconds went by. Yeah. You know, my mindset when he handled that dog, I'm looking at the bottom of the tree there, and it appears that it's right on a steep hillside right there. Yeah.
From what I understand, just listening to them, they're talking like there may be a den. You know, they see it maybe on the inside.
They've seen something here. There was some discussion going on there. Maybe
Well, they certainly called the judge over there.
All right, guys, we just got in here to Dow's tree. First look, we didn't find it right away. First one of the night. They did find a den that connects to it. We're gonna blow the squallers a little bit, low lights, beat on the tree a little bit, see what they can make happen.
Looks almost like a pine, almost.
No, he's facing another tree though. He's tied to a pine.
No, sir. No. No, from right here you can see there's feet between them, like feet, not inches, feet. Right here. There's the limb. It goes damn limb. You go right in that tree. Look, right here. You can just, that limb is like 4 or 5 feet above it. Right here don't go together. Right there. That goes together. Right here. That's all together.
Little discussion there where the 2 trees touch, you know? So the den, I think what Trevor said, the den might have been in the tree next to it or something. They'll determine if, the judge will determine if they touch. same amount of energy he had when he started.
That is Dow. That is the dog that you're looking at right now is night champion, maxed out Dow Jones, sired by Little Money.
Got a real hound mouth on him, too.
Yes.
You notice that them dogs out of certain sires like Willie's and Ann's name, a lot of these money dogs have got a name, something to do with currency or money or something like
Maxed
that.
out
Maxed
or
out and bankrupt, something to do with money.
Can you remember the dog's name last year?
Which one did Dustin hunt last year?
It had the same. I mean,
it was a Max something.
Mad Money.
Mad Money. Yeah, and then you had one that was off him that was called Color Me Up.
Color Me Up. Yeah. Yeah. So
there's been a few times where you know, as lucky as you are, playing cards where they had to color you up, right?
Yeah, right.
That's really where
had
the
a little bit of that
scenario
this past week. I didn't. I got to watch Bob in action down there at the casino last week.
So right now, guys, if you're viewing, I'm sure they're trying to decide whether
it's a tough call,
touching or not.
Always a tough call in this situation.
This call will make a game change in the.
It'll be a huge. Because as the hunt's winding down, we know that we've got less than a half hour left. Well, right at a half hour left in the hunt. So, it's certainly a huge call for these guys to make for sure.
It looks like the call has been made.
It looks like we're going to be able to hunt the full time here, and you don't get to do that in a lot of places when you're hunting in this country up here.
We're still trying to. It looks like they're going down to check one more area, so it probably tells me they're still trying to prove whether or not they're touching. So
so if a coon goes up the tree that he's on and crosses over and gets into another tree with a den, or if the coon's seen, you can still score that, but it has to be an obvious crossing for a judge to determine that the coon could get over there. And they're trying to figure that out right now. We haven't seen a coon, I don't believe, but we're trying to determine if it's an actual.
Yeah, I think we're trying to determine a den.
Den tree. Place of refuge.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say.
Got an update on Cowboy there, Steve.
And I can tell you this. I mean, this could be a huge game changer here. Cowboy's certainly back in the running as far as
hearing.
It's maybe not on the winning side of it, but I mean, obviously.
800 yards is what they just reported Cowboys at. So.
So we're just getting a report. We'll see it updated on the scorecard that Ann is struck for 75 and treed for 125. We'll still be interested to see how this tree was scored.
Yeah, he's just gonna walk over and tell him I
Boy, they've got into a
I believe
cooning
he
area.
just said.
right
I
there.
believe I just heard. give us an update, but that may have been one of them scenarios where one of them for the first time. Dog, young dog.
All right, guys, we're in here at Dow's tree. Tree was minus. There was a question placed on the card by Moses on if two trees were touching. So that's where we're at right now, heading to Ann's tree.
All right, let's jump in here and explain to our viewers what a question. A handler has a right to question the call of a judge. It's not a scratchable offense, so they do not have to come back to the field reps. Now, the good thing of it is the field reps are at the club or at the trucks. The field reps are on site, so they will be able to answer this question as soon as they get back. So now let's look at this. Dow, as you can see, they scored it as 100 minus and 125 minus. You see the question mark placed there. We did have a report that Cowboy is about 800 yards. Not sure if we heard him or if he's just kind of back in to play or hopeful to be in play. And now Ann is struck for 75 and 125. So now we're walking to Ann's tree, and I'm trying to see. I think it's the other setting that tells us the time. We're probably, what are we at? I would say we're less than 30 probably.
We have, yeah, we're
13 and 17, or
Yeah, so
13 and 13, 26.
about 26 minutes.
Yeah.
after that,
Okay.
huh?
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah,
and
so
that's
about
just like that,
27
plus the
about 27
minutes for
minutes.
that update,
Yeah.
So guys, to our viewers, while we're walking into Ann, you're getting a better feel tonight of the accuracy, the working, the functions of the houndsman advantage.
Yeah.
I mean, folks are getting to see
Yeah.
that tonight work well. So here we go. We're going into
We're here,
Ann.
and we can faintly hear
And
Ann in the background.
I can tell you this from the Dow Jones though. I mean, it obviously the tree he was on didn't have any game in it, which produces minus points instead of plus. And the question in the field was that there was some discussion out in the field. There was a den tree. There was no game seen either way, but there was a den tree that was right next to the tree he was treed on. That would warrant circle points instead of minus points if, in fact, they would have touched or not. But again, that's a judgment call in the woods as well.
So Dow's going to, if he strikes while they're shining this tree, if he strikes within range of him shining this tree, he will go in for 50. So that rule got changed, what, Jamie? The last rules changed a couple years ago?
Well, he just can't strike in.
But when did that rule? I mean, I know the rule's correct, but I mean, when was that
Well,
two
the
rule
first-
changes
yeah,
back? Or
because it used
we
to
always used
read-
to have to strike for 25.
Yeah, and then you could strike for 25, but you couldn't, as long
You
as
couldn't
the
advance
position
to
is
the
it's scored,
lowest
it
point.
comes open.
Yeah.
And so 50
Yeah.
would be next available because Ann's holding 75 and Cowboy's holding 75, so
Right.
50 would be next available.
Yeah.
And hey, Ann's sitting at 350, 350 right now.
Right.
Struck for 75, treat for 125, so she's obviously got 200 pending, and you don't. I mean, when just looking at scenarios, I guarantee you that with the Cowboy in Austin, with him, they said he's within 800 yards now. There's a very good case scenario now that he could come back into the play of things.
Right.
And you have to, if this question comes into play of that, if, say for an example, if you're talking about Cowboy, if they lose this question and you look at the score, that makes Dow at 150. If Cowboy can move in a second place, you're talking $10,000.
100%. Well, we still have a pending tree on Ann.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know. I mean, it's
It could
anything
be-
can happen. It's in the game, for sure.
Ann struck for 75. If she takes a minus strike
She's at
a tree.
150.
Yep.
Because she's
Yeah,
at 350 now.
right,
So,
right.
it's one of them unfortunate things when you hunt on that side of it. Obviously,
fact is-
Dow has a chance to redeem himself.
The fact is, he could move into first on a blank.
100%.
Yeah, if he gets treed.
If we get a blank from Ann.
Then
Holy
he can
cow,
get
these hunts are
treed.
never over till it's over.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they're not overwinning them.
Hey, John was in that situation last night. 14 minutes left to go, basically up almost 3 on the dog in his cast, and all of a sudden, 14 minutes left to go, strike opens back up.
All right, guys. Well, we hope that you're enjoying tonight with us. We're enjoying being here. This has been an exciting night because we've got to spend so much time in the field, you viewing the finals of the 2025 UKC Tournament of Champions. We're going to go to break tonight. Just want to remind you to come back with us as we finish out the final cast, and you can see who will be the winner. We know we have Ann Treed, and they're in process getting to her. I'm Jamie Estep, your host tonight, along with Rick Stretch, Steve Burkholder, and you're watching the 2025 UKC Tournament of Champions Finals. Come back and be with us, and let's see what Ann has.
It's an exciting day for us to be here, and it is my pleasure to welcome each and every one of you.
Dustin Weed. I'm from Prairie, Mississippi. I call him out, but his name on the papers is Mad Money. I don't know if he knows it or not, but that's what I call him. The first of the cast, it was a one-dog show. Like, I done got frustrated. Nothing was going right, and I was ready. I just tell you, I was ready to quit if Josh would have been ready to quit, and then it changed. I treated a coon, I got recut, and we got in here in a Z, and he had a slick in there, and we pulled off. I was tree, we go to me, I've got a coon. So now with 10 minutes left, we get to cut loose, and I got tree a coon to win. Well, we both get treed. He's got a den, I'm treed through the country, and I have a coon to win. A lot went on that last hour. Going to that last tree in there, I couldn't say nothing. I was all quiet going through there. I was happy and nervous at the same time. I knowed it come down to if he had the coon, I win. By the time I found the coon, the judge and them seen it, it was a good feeling. It means a lot. I'm proud of my dog. I'm proud of Travis Black for trusting me to hunt for him. Me and this dog has had a lot of bad luck. I say bad luck, it's just bad breaks. He'd be out of pocket or get beat by a quarter, and I know he was too good of a dog not to win, you know, something big, and it showed. It finally come out. That's my favorite win as of right now. Like, it's all different. Like, I've drew good dogs, good judges, good spots. Like, it's all went smooth. I look forward to it next year. If you ain't experienced it, you need to experience it. This is total different than everything else. I don't think he's got a care in the world. He looks sleepy, but I believe we can go unsnap him and he'll fire through there. He'll wake up pretty quick. I take care of him as good as I think a dog can be took care of when he loses or wins. So I don't want him to think he's done too good. He may decide not to win no more.
Good luck to you. Little Lacey, 2024 UKC World Champion. How you feeling?
My name is Casey Maggard, and I'm from a small town in southeast Kentucky called Hyden. For a living, I'm a forester. My family owns a sawmill and work with my family every day. We buy timber and cut it into logs and saw it into lumber.
I got him. Good job. Oh my gosh. Thank you, sir.
Good job. Nice job, brother.
Thanks, man.
Nice job, buddy.
Oh my gosh.
And Casey Maggard and Little Lacey have just sealed the deal. Buddy, what's your initial feelings?
Man, I don't know. I just, you know, it's tore me all to pieces. I can't believe it. I'm so proud of my dog. You know, she's all week. I mean, everything that I ask of her, she's done it. You know, when she's got treats, she's had coons, and I just haven't doubted her. You know, me coming in here, the way she's looked this week, I felt confident she had a coon, and
yeah,
I can't believe it.
Man, that was an exciting cast.
It was pins and needles. That's like I said earlier. You know, every cast this week, I've just caught the right breaks. You know, she's treat coons, and I've caught the right breaks to move on. And just like this here, you know, in my opinion, the same thing. These other guys, their dogs look good, and we just came out on top.
You did, buddy.
Well, I had 1 out of 108 chance, so I mean, it's a possibility, but knowing it now. This is great, you know, as far as in the coon hunting world, this is as good as it gets. She's a world champion, and I am too, you know, that's the main thing, but I don't really think nothing's going to change, you know. We're still here in a night or two, we'll get back after it. That's doing what we love. Well, you know, from the beginning, we had a good hunt. Main thing is, you know, everybody got along, good sportsmanship. The dogs operated, you know, like they were supposed to. Lacey was able to tree 2 coons. Braxton's dog treed 2 coons also, but it come down to the end. She had to have a coon, and she did. Oh, I caught her. I barely could talk, and I was trying to tell her that we won, and she said, "I know it. I know it." Her and her family had been watching the whole time, so they understand, you know, how much this means to me and how much time we put in, you know, night after night, laying out and hunting, you know, and it's tough when you work. She understands and she appreciates it, and definitely makes it easier.
And welcome back tonight to the 2025 UKC Tournament of Champions. We are in Greencastle, Indiana. We're viewing and watching and participating in the final cast. I'm Jamie Eastep, your host, along with Rick Stretch and Steve Burkholder. We are taking this into the final few minutes, and to give you an update, we're going to be joined by UKC's very own Alan Gingrich. Alan, can you tell us what you know about the cast?
Yeah, I know a little bit. So, hey folks, I hope you're enjoying the show tonight. It's fun to hunt. The temperature is great tonight. It's a cloudy, overcast, and everything. Good night for a hunt. Probably about mid-40s, I would say. So, but yeah, we've been following along. Unfortunately, they lost service right now, but they've got a little bit of a situation. I just talked to Trevor out there, and they were headed to Ann's tree. 19 minutes left in the hunt. I'm going to say that. At the moment, and everybody else is kind of hanging back, so you're not going to see any cameras going in there, and they're going to try to get back. Now, time is still running while all of this is happening, so they're down to the last 15 minutes, going to score Ann. The other thing that Trevor told me is that they think they can hear Cowboy as well, so that's where we are right now. And again, I hope you're enjoying the show, and we're getting down to the down towards the end here, so hope you stick with us here. Back to you guys.
All right. So really, the scenarios have changed greatly here. Cowboys coming back into play, possibly coming back into play, going in to score Ann. You know, Ann has a coon here. She's pretty well wrapped it up.
You know what? I mean, they could get in there and not be able to score.
Yeah.
You know.
And honestly, depending upon the distance and getting in there and scoring it, the hunt could just about be over at the scoring of Ann's tree. Yeah. And so the last few minutes, is going to be exciting here. So, so as we see, so somewhere here, Dow got struck in for 50. So Dow's back on the card.
And Ann's been plussed.
Okay, so and they've made it to Ann's tree, if that is accurate, and has plussed her.
And I believe Cowboy's on the board up there too.
And Cowboy is on the board, and I think we might be getting another report now. And we're going to go to Alan again. So Alan, there's some things that have changed. What do we have?
Yeah, all of a sudden I've got a job here again. I'm working on my phone, getting texts from the field now, but hey, I've been tickled to allow Trevor to do the report from there if we have good service, and we've had some good reports from him. But Ann did in fact have a coon, so she got plussed up. But in the meantime, Cowboy is also treed, and Dow has been struck for 50. So there's quite a bit going on here. So to decipher here as we are ticking down towards the end. So back to you guys at the panel.
All right, guys. So we see now we're at about 13 minutes, and we have
Cowboy treed.
Cowboy treed, and that could be a $10,000 tree right there.
You bet.
And so,
so Steve, where's Ann at right now?
I would be walking to the tree. I would be walking to Cowboy's tree on the leash. I can tell you that.
She's on the leash. You think?
Well, I would think in this case scenario, how could you know Cowboy is a long ways in there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think in this scenario, you beat me if you can.
Yeah.
Because
and he can't.
And he can't. I mean,
and
he can't. There's really. I mean, having the dog on your lead at this point with we're looking at
close to 10.
So now we're back to. So right now, Ann is on the lead. I would think she would stay there, but.
Yeah, he would take his option, and
walk to Cowboy. We'll see. Discussing.
Lost our audio there, maybe, or.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as Cowboy's treeing, Ann can stay safely on the leash.
Yeah.
And
so we know we're less than 13 minutes because that would have been scored.
10 minutes. I got 11:33. We turned loose at 9:43. So we're 10 minutes.
So we're right at 10 minutes.
I don't know the exact second.
I would say the audio is it's freezing up a little bit. But certainly in this situation, I would be, and if she in fact goes on, I mean, what an incredible hunt. If she in fact goes on and wins this hunt, we heard earlier tonight, that's going to put her over
200,000.
210,000, right at 210,000.
And not a year.
In 8 months.
Yeah, in 8 months. That's pretty good, ain't it?
That's
what do you say, from July to now?
Yeah.
All right, now we just had a change. Dow is on the board, treed. So now we've got two dogs treed. That really doesn't affect Ann. Ann is but it does affect second and third.
Right.
And so that's, so now we see to our viewers, we have Dow at 50 and 125. That's 175 pending. And we have Cowboy at 125 and 75, 200 pending. Yep. So we really got a battle right now for second and third. And that's the difference of 30,000 and 20,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
when you won Redbone Days, did you have anything this exciting about it?
I had a trophy. I had a plaque about yay big and about three.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around you winning Redbone Days. But if it wasn't in this woods, I probably wouldn't even bring it up. But what did you have for score?
It's 5-something out of this woods.
Yeah. Same coons Ann Street tonight, probably.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. That'd have to be an ancient grandfather.
Yeah, they'd have, maybe great grand.
I'm sure he didn't win Redbone Days just here in the last couple of years.
No, it wouldn't. No.
What a tournament event here.
It's unbelievable. And, hey, I tell you what. I mean, all these dogs are top-notch dogs. You look at this scenario that we're in. I mean, guaranteed Austin. He's shared a lot. He's been very vocal about it on trying to finish it off. He's that dog will win something big when it's all said, and has won a lot.
Yeah.
But I know Austin has shared that, hey, it just seems like he's that notch away of closing the deal. And it was, in listening to that tonight, it was quite ironic when we was sitting there, because I think John had shared earlier in the broadcast that with little Ann, when them guys had her, it just seemed like they couldn't finish off the big one.
Yeah.
You know.
They mentioned that at lunch today.
Mentioned at lunch, but then they just said that,
Yeah, they just.
And,
he
hey,
was one of them dogs that just couldn't quite get over the hump.
Well, it happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes just a little different pairing can be, that little difference can just be all the difference in the world. We see it happen a lot.
I was talking to somebody coming over on Wednesday, and we got talking about handlers and dogs and who's your pick and stuff like that, and we got. I mean, it's just impossible. You can't have a conversation without certain names popping up, and John's name popped up, and as well as a bunch of others. But John tries hard. He tries hard to have a good dog and to win these events. And he's been cool, calm, mild-mannered out here this evening, and he does it in a, like you said, all your hunts have been good with him. And but he tries harder than the average Joe.
Yeah.
And it gets him to where he wants to be, But anyway, we're kind of waiting on the update from Alan, or waiting on something here.
And he's been John's been a very, very strong competitor over the years. For those that know him, he's always had a good hound. He's been in a position where he's been able to get what he's wanted, and kudos to him. And it's good for the sport. It's good for dogs because it gives dogs an opportunity to compete in a spotlight on a big stage and really perform and show what they can do. And it's good on so many aspects as far as dogs being out of certain. This is obviously. Ann being off of, Willie,
Where was she at in the pick'em? I mean, have you got your pick'em?
Yeah, she was in the top. She was
in
like
the top 5 or
she was like
something?
third or fourth.
Third or fourth?
Yeah.
And that's from the fans, out here that were picking the eventual
she
winner.
was third or fourth, maybe second. She was in the top.
Going
maybe,
back
I
to.
think she was second actually.
Was
I
she
think
second?
Cookie was first,
Okay.
and she was second.
Oh.
So I'm just getting word that we do have a report from Alan, and we're going to go to him. And we know, folks, that we're less than 10 minutes away. And so we're going to go to report. We get
You're
a report.
5 minutes away, Jamie.
Alan, what do we have?
Yeah, you're right, Jamie. We're going to be less than 10 minutes away. We're going to be closer to 5 probably in real time right here. But so here's what's going on. So Ann is on the lead strap. Cowboy got declared treed, and he is right at a mile away from the cast. They started walking to him, and Dow got treed, and he calls him treed, and he's merely 200 yards away from the cast. So here's what's happening. One of the judges is going with Gentry to go to Cowboy, and obviously they won't get there by the time the hunt's over, okay? So, and the other judges are waiting until the 7 minutes, until the hunt is up, and then they're going to go in and, they're wait the 3 minutes to go to Dow or whatever. At this point, it doesn't matter. What they're gonna do is the dogs can be scored out of order after hunt time is up. So once the hunt time is up, they will in fact score Dow's tree at that point, because in that scenario now they can score trees out of order, and it's really not gonna matter. But there's some scenarios in play here, and I will let them pull up the scorecard, and I'll let the panel talk about all these scenarios. But this play is probably going to end the hunt here. We just need to determine who's going to place second and who's going to place third. So there you have it. Back to you guys.
All right. And we've kind of been talking about those scenarios because we know that this is a split of between a 30,000 win and a 20,000 win.
And to be fair, to take it back one step, that we don't forget, we do know we have a question on the card. That was made.
Yeah,
it could make a difference, certainly, in this situation. If they go in here and Dow has a coon, the question would obviously come into play. But very smart on obviously scoring them out of order in this case scenario because regardless if Cowboy has a coon at that point in time or not, he's going to stay at third.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, with going in and scoring Dow, if he's plussed, obviously, no matter how things are scored, the third place is not going to change.
Right.
Yep.
And certainly we have a question on the card. We want to be respectful on that, as the question would be brought back in
And
on that
the
side.
cast, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure even if they scored Dow at 200. I'm not so sure. I don't know if depending upon where Tyler's at, if they could just go ahead and score that tree because there's a judge there. I don't know if Tyler would have to.
Main judge has to. Main judge has
I don't
to
know.
score the tree.
Yeah, I don't know where we would. I'm glad we're using good common sense here, but we're also using a rule.
Yeah.
You can score them out of order after the hunt's over. But in your scenario there, Jamie, I don't know. I'd have to say that I would, with this retirement that I've took here in the last year or two, I can't tell you exactly if a backup judge would be able to do that
I
or
would
not.
think that
but,
the main judge, but maybe I'm wrong on that. But we would. That would be interesting to see. But anyhow, excuse me, we're going to have some time here because if one dog's 200 and another dog's a mile, there's going to be a time gap before we see where second and third is going to land. And then we still might not see that until we see the question settled. But again, we have field reps there. We have field reps.
It's going to end at the tailgate.
Yeah, it's going to end.
Sure.
It's going to end
there.
there.
And if you look at it, we should be officially, we should be within a minute or less from the.
We're
hunt
under
being,
a minute.
Being officially over.
Yeah.
And they'll score Dow, and it's like again, the last tree doesn't have to be scored, if they elect not to score it, because it's not going to matter on.
If Dow has a coon.
Exactly. If Dow has a coon.
Yeah.
100%.
While we're waiting, guys, on another report, and hopefully we can get back to the field and show you some final things, I want to mention one more time our partner, UKC. Just to remind everyone, UKC is a tremendous partner with UKC. They're the official performance dog nutrition partner, and we truly appreciate all that they do for the sport and for UKC and making these things possible. We also want to mention a sponsor in Houndsman Advantage. You have seen the Houndsman Advantage app tonight working its greatest opportunity to shine before the people. And so I would encourage you to go give that an opportunity. I know if you download it, you get a 7-day free trial. So please go take advantage of that. You'll be, I think you'll be well pleased with that. So again, thank you to UKC, a partner, and thank you to a sponsor of Houndsman Advantage. And you would be just thank you to both of you. So are we probably over the hunt right now, time-wise, guys?
Yeah, we for sure just went over.
Okay.
Yep.
So from what we're looking at in time-wise, we've completed the 2 hours. We know we have Ann on the chain. Feel very confident she's your 2025 UKC Tournament of Champions winner. And so probably John's pretty excited right now.
Sure, yeah.
And we know we have a question on the card, could make a play there, but we know we have Dow treed and we know that we have Cowboy treed. And so we know that if we go into Dow's tree and he's got a coon, that kind of settles the second. That kind of settles the second place, and they'll still probably just handle Cowboy and be done. Is what I would assume is what Tyler will make, but that's an assumption. And so we should get, if Dow was only 200 yards, we should get a report fairly.
We'll get a report here. I would think that here in the next 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyways. One thing I want to say about the question, there's different types of questions, and in this scenario, this is a call that was questioned on this wasn't a rules infraction. This wasn't on that scenario. It's basically a question on a judgment call, and the way it works in just to kind of break the question down, the way it works on a judgment call, and I'd love to have you guys weigh in on this, is we're hunting with the non-hunting judge scenario tonight. In other words, it's a judge out there that's not competing in the hunt. And, you know, in a hunting judge scenario, it's totally different. But in this situation, it is a non-hunting judge. He did make a call, you know what I mean, in the field on a judgment call. So it's not a rules infraction or anything like that. It's just a judgment call of a tree touching or not. And obviously, I don't blame Jonathan in that situation for questioning it. But like you said, it's very highly likely that John and Ann are gonna be your 2025 TOC Tournament Champions. Champion, and it's gonna be the second year in a row, y'all. I mean, this is incredible that a pup off of.
This one's out of Willie. Ann's out of
Oh,
Willie.
that's right. That's right. Yeah, 100%.
Let me have a sip of what you got there.
Yeah, I know. You may have to.
No, we were just talking about that, you know.
As we know, we're just getting a report from the field. Hunt time has expired.
Yeah.
It is officially over with. So now we're just in a scoring situation.
Right.
And we'll probably get the report, I would say soon, from Dow, and maybe get a shot of John and Ann. While we're waiting on that, I want to make a quick mention to all of our viewers tonight. Don't forget all of the social opportunities that you have with UKC, all the social channels, Facebook, Instagram, at UKC Hunting Ops. Use hashtag dogs that do more in your photo captions. It's a great opportunity for you to stay connected, for you to promote your dog. And so again, that's social channels, Facebook and Instagram at UKC Hunting Ops, and use the hashtag dogs that do more. You can also follow UKC on the YouTube channel for videos, and you can subscribe to get a ton of notifications of upcoming videos. And our YouTube channel is UKC Dogs. And so we just want to kind of inform you on that. And we hope truly tonight that you've enjoyed this. And we look forward to continue to bring these to you, and trying to improve and trying to make these the best that our viewers can watch. Guys, just think about that. Where we're at in the ability to bring these finals to people and almost bring it right to their living room. I mean, this is exciting. And what would be a take tonight from you guys that maybe just a thought that you could share with our viewers in these last few minutes?
For me, I mean, as much great footage as we've had tonight on this, and during break I talked to a couple from the production side of it, and you know, even at 11:30 tonight, when everybody's you know, on their last leg, or you know, we're winding this thing down, they're over there strategizing. How can we make this a little bit better? How can we make the footage out there in the field a little bit better? It's not that we're getting ready to pack up, getting ready to go home in the morning. It's how can we do a little better job? And kudos to them. I mean, it's just every year it seems to get a little bit better. I don't know how Alan picks these places where the cell service is just horrible, but he does. And the fact of it is, you have more hunting territory where the cell service is a little bit rougher because it's not as populated. Your best coon hunts are where the coons live, and they're not living around cell towers.
I don't know. We've seen several around the auction tonight.
Yeah.
So around the clubhouse. So
yeah.
there's a lot living there.
I seen 4 on Thursday night. I didn't see any coming in tonight. I think it's still a little bit daily.
I seen one last night.
But this, I don't know when I've been around people that have done a good job or have done a little better than good job, and then they're over there trying to figure out what are we going to do better this fall, you know, when we do this all again.
I think that's the passion of what they do to make the product better for the viewers, to make the product better for the folks that you know, are customers of United Kennel Club.
Yeah.
And that's a huge compliment for them and what they do for us. Steve, what would be a thought you have?
Well, you know, just sitting here thinking these last few minutes or whatever on, you know, as most people know, this is our last this is our last venue for the TOC at 3 Fat Labs. You know, as the hunt is going to move, and I just have to think, you know, being here from the first one that was held here, on an idea that started, you know, probably 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
And you know, being able to compete in that first one, and then asked to, you know, take part in doing this here, it is exciting on that side of it.
Looky here. What has happened?
So it looks to me like it looks like there was another. So Cowboy's tree is definitely going to come into a roll, because looks like he had another minus. That Dow had another minus tree.
Yeah.
So in that case scenario, Dow's tree is certainly going to come. Now you're going to have to go score a Cowboy, because a circle or a plus on that case scenario. But certainly what this does is Ann is going to be your definite winner.
Right.
Question doesn't matter now anymore.
Yeah.
So Dow is scratched.
Well, he's reached his limit, hasn't he?
Yeah. So Cowboy is your automatic second place winner now.
Yeah, there you go. That bright red, you see that bright red up there, Steve?
I see it just now. I overlooked that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes. So that happened.
We see our final
So
three.
welcome back. I mean, the viewers are used to you making a mistake.
I'm not used to this. I'm not used to this technology.
We
okay?
gave you the floor by yourself for a minute, and you've got it
I
all
don't
moved
know.
up.
He's telling me.
I told you this afternoon that.
I'm looking at total scored out the bottom.
I'm looking. I'm like, how's that tree come into play now? It's over.
Yeah, you know, here's you know, thinking of that.
You want to just stop where you're at right
He had a heck of a run, though.
Yeah,
Had a heck of a run, got here, you know, this point or whatever. But certainly to go with, you know, what, 35, 40 minutes left to go in a 2-hour hunt, and it can happen.
Yeah.
It happened to the best of them. So.
Guys, I want to say something right here for Houndsman Advantage, as you just seen. Again, I want to remind you guys the opportunity, the thank you of their sponsorship, or the thank you of their sponsorship, and look at what they've been able to bring to us
Well,
tonight.
they took Alan Gingrich almost completely out of it
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah, and
the focus is on this app and on us,
This
which I
app.
really enjoy more.
You really like that?
Boy, that cutting Alan every few minutes there on the last few hunts we've had, that got kind of
And at least tonight, he was in a warmer setting. I mean, Thursday night, we knew the temperature.
He cried.
We knew the
Running
temperature.
around being cold.
Yeah,
you
we
know,
seen his zipper start here on his jacket and just move
just
up to
going
almost
up
to his
to where he
chin.
almost had earmuffs.
Yeah, he did. I mean,
I seen him in the background there on one of the on the photos.
But he looked pretty warm tonight.
Yeah, he was in fine form.
I would say our next shot. is probably going to be in the field of the winner.
Probably. I think we're trying to get. I think they're already back to the truck.
Well, they surely are back.
Is
Cowboy,
they're
I wouldn't
already?
think.
They're
It's
already.
not going to matter.
It ain't gonna matter, but
That is your
winner right
UKC
there.
champion.
That
looks
is your
like a
winner. And I think she's been there before. I think if we've learned anything about her tonight, she can finish now.
Yeah, yeah. What is it, Steve? I mean, 2 trucks. Has she won 2 trucks? Holy
You know, it's them guys was all sitting around her. And one thing about the hunts, we love the camaraderie. We get to sit around and talk. These guys talk. And they was talking about, we had a scenario last night where a cast was running close to making that deadline, and one of the guys brought up, said, you know, if we do a draw, you know, to do the heads up cast, one dog would automatically advance to the finals. And they all looked over at John and said, John, it's going to be you. Why are we even drawing? We might as well just draw and figure out who's going to be the outcome. You're going to be the one that's going to advance.
If they didn't get the dog in the scorecard back at deadline, and the other guy said, yeah, it'll be Lucky John, you know, that gets to draw the bye. But
you know,
I'll tell you, John takes a lot of luck out of the scenario.
He takes a lot of luck because you know, a lot of people would love to win like John does, but they're not willing to put the work in like he does. They don't see that behind the scenes what it takes.
You think Suzanne picked that dog leash out?
I would think that she probably did.
I do too.
Yeah, I guarantee it. There's no way he did.
No.
There's no way he did. And it certainly doesn't match his attire. He had light blue on.
Yeah.
They all had light blue on tonight.
And speaking of blue with John, the first time I hunted with John, he was hunting a blue tick years and years ago.
Yeah.
I forget the dog's name. Knot? Was it Knot or Knothead or something similar to that?
Yeah,
I think that's what it was, yeah.
I'm not 100% for sure where they're going or what they're doing here.
There's Doug Cundiff. Finally get to see him in there. He's been eating donuts, I'll guarantee you. Coffee and donuts right there. But yeah, that, you know, whenever John, you know, Thursday night I mentioned to you, and we both got to talking about it, Jamie, about teamwork. And you notice the amount of people that are involved with John. There's 3 or 4 owners on this dog here. And then the boys down there that live around John, and when John takes Suzanne on vacation or whatever the scenario may be, they take Ann and keep her in decent shape for him. I've said it and said it and said it for years. Your odds are better when you've got a good team surrounding you.
100%.
And you've been on some good teams. You've won a world championship with a team.
Yeah, we did. And it was fun. We had a lot of fun.
It's more fun to share it.
Yes, it is.
A single, you know, you can have a single owner handler get through these things and enjoy them just like the rest of us. But boy, is it fun to share. Now, it's probably not as much fun to split them checks up like that.
No.
But, kudos to that bunch there of having a great team.
As we know, let's take this thought for a second. As we know our program is nearing the end, why don't one of you guys just take a moment and remind our viewers on how they can get qualified for, I know we've touched on it, but how can they get qualified for the 2026?
Well, when we looked at putting this together many years ago, the whole inception of it, I remember golfing with Alan actually, and started this conversation on, we wanted to be able to give anybody an opportunity, take the scenario out that, you know, I'd love to compete, I've got a hound good enough to compete, at this level, I just can't afford it. And so we started putting our minds together on how can we come up with a scenario that anybody, really anybody, could come to this hunt and hunt. And we wanted to also, wrapped up in that, we wanted to try to help boost local entries. And that's kind of how this idea was conceived. And then we started going out in the field and asking hunters, you know, on their thought process. So how you get qualified for this hunt is you simply have to go out and win 5 casts at any hunts throughout the year, the previous year. So in 2025, 5 cast wins of any hunt that you're in will qualify you for the 2026 Tournament of Champions. And then obviously as you get qualified, you then go through the regional levels, and then obviously the final levels. But the whole idea is if you think about it, most of these entries, local entries, which this is really an incredible stat. You take a dog like, let's just use Dow Jones for instance, goes out and wins 5 casts, probably spent, you know, anywhere from $20 to $25 entry fee. That's $250 bucks, you know, just roughly. And then you have your $150 to enter to get there. So for $400, you got a chance to win $50,000. Now you got some expenses in there, don't get me wrong. But still, it was generated that I believe anybody that has a hound that it feels is good enough, they're going to be able to come up with $400 and take the equation out that I don't have a dog that's good enough to compete. And every year we see it. We've seen it again in the top 24 of guys that show up and hunt, and they advance. And you know, maybe somebody that doesn't get to hunt the big hunts may not, you know, for whatever reason it may be, then they get to compete here.
The thought on Thursday, when Alan gave his short and important speech there before the meal, he asked the newcomers to stand up, and it was nearly a quarter. I mean, we couldn't get a count of it, but it was nearly a quarter of the people that were in there. This is your first time of coming to this hunt. Stand up, and wow, you know it. And what will it be next year? A little more than a quarter.
Yeah.
And the year after that, you know.
This year we had 1,491 dogs that met the criteria of the 5 cast wins.
That's incredible.
With 922 entered.
Yeah.
So 922 paid the $150 entry and went in to hunt the 6 regions.
And that was our biggest numbers.
That's the biggest number. And so every trend is saying that or better coming into next year. So, you know, just like Steve said, get out and support the local club. Get out and support the local club. Get your 5 wins. And I promise you, even though we heard tonight that the venue is going to be moving, we're kind of hearing where it's going to be moving to city-wise, or area-wise, maybe not sure the venue yet, But one thing I can guarantee you is that it's going to be top notch wherever it's at. This is a hunt that you would love to come to and be a part of. The Thursday night, Thursday evening, the anticipation, the excitement, the walking into whatever the venue may be, the dinner, the every evening being taken care of with food. I mean, they go above and beyond.
Steve, we've been to hunts all over the country, all types of hunts. There's no other hunt that meets the criteria that this one does.
To put it in perspective, John Strickland won TOC tonight as a handler. Of course, he was an owner. But you guys, for the viewers out there, this was a bucket list of his to win. He told me from the first time that he come to the Tournament of Champions.
Been here all 5 times.
Been here all 5 times. Hunted here all 5 times. That his bucket list out of any hunt. Now understand, we're talking to a guy that has a little female he's on a roll with right now. That's won $163,000. I will promise you, talking to John and knowing John, and if he had to pick the TOC championship and $50,000 or the 163, he's taking the TOC title.
Yeah.
Because it really means that much. It really is that special to win this hunt here, and it's the venue, it's the camaraderie. And back to what you was saying, Jamie, that's the thing that taken away from this hunt. We've come stayed at the DePaul Inn. I mean, we've done it for several years now. Taking that walk down that sidewalk. That's right. A huge shout out to 3 Fat Lads. The venue's been outstanding. The scenario, the setting, and stuff like that. And we do know a little bit. I can guarantee it. The venue is only going to increase, and what makes the venue increase is the people. You, the viewers that are viewing in tonight, the hunters. You make this hunt. Okay, it's the participation of you guys going out, competing with your hounds, getting qualified, and then coming in and sharing this with us. And we hope that you enjoy it as much as what we do, because we certainly, over the years, crowning these champions, seeing the field get here on Thursday, where you have 96 people that have an opportunity to come win this hunt. And a lot of people, sometimes this is their first, like you said, there's 25% of the people that walk down there. And there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it the first time I come down. It never gets old, and it certainly it's certainly very enjoyable, and certainly I have enjoyed the last several years being a part of that side of it, and look forward to next year. And just go out. I mean, just out of encouragement again. Go out, get your dogs qualified. I don't care. Anybody has a chance to compete to win this title, and that's what we dreamed of many years ago. A lot of people, there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes of putting something like this on. There's a lot of work that goes on putting a production from our production team. Our job, honestly, we have the Jamie and Rick. They pick on how hard we work or whatever, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all. We have the best job in the world. What we do, we really do. We really, really do, because the people that really work at this deal is the guys behind the cameras, the guys that are sitting behind the tables putting this whole thing together. Because honestly, they're putting all this together while we're sleeping through the day in the mornings. And they're tirelessly working, putting this all together to bring it to you guys. And I hope that all you viewers enjoy it as much as we do, as much as we love to pick on each other. We're very blessed to be a part of something special, something that we dreamed of many years ago. I know that one time riding and golfing on an afternoon, we had talked about how cool would it be if we could build this thing to 1,000 entries. And at that point in time, it was hard to wrap our mind around that it could happen, y'all. But you know what? Because of you, the hunters, we have 922 this year, and we're going to hit 1,000. I believe it will go to 1,000, and that's exciting when you think about that.
All right, to all of our viewers, we're going to take one more break, and then we're going to kind of come back, give you the final tallies, the final look, and wrap this thing up. We're very thankful that you have stayed with us tonight. We want you to stay with us for the final segment. Just remind you that you're watching the 2025 UKC Tournament of Champions. And I'm Jamie Eastep, your host, along with Rick Stretch and Steve Burkholder. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
They're partners, ready to do whatever it takes. Athletes that pound for pound can outrun, outwork, and outperform anybody you're watching on Sunday. no contract required. You don't waste that kind of potential. You train it, fuel it, unleash it. You feed nutrition that holds nothing back. The Eukanuba Premium Performance Lineup.
Check out the United Kennel Club online store for all of our magazine subscriptions and UKC merchandise. Go to shop.ukcdogs.com and you'll find all the best gear to support your UKC lifestyle. Snag a new hat, hoodie, or t-shirt and subscribe to our many publications, including our world-leading coonhound publication, Coonhound Bloodlines. We even have research pedigrees and rule books available to purchase. Why wait? Shop now. Guess what? We have a podcast. The all-new United Kennel Club podcast will not only feature great guests living the sporting dog life, but also rules and sport updates. Tune into the Hunting Ops podcasts with Alan Gingrich and Trevor Wade to hear the latest coonhound rules and updates, beagle rules and updates, and all breaking news about UKC Hunting Ops programs. Hear it right here first. Subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss out. Dating back to 1874, the American Field Sportsman's Journal was delivered to the homes of sporting dog enthusiasts and hunters across America, paving the way for the all-around sportsman's publication. Now under the ownership of the United Kennel Club, the American Field Sportsman's Journal is reborn as an upgraded version of its original grandeur, celebrating the lifestyle for those who value a day in the field with canine hunting companions. The new journal will be a quarterly publication designed once again to showcase our way of life with all sporting dogs, including bird dogs, retrievers, hounds, beagles, and other types of hunting and working dogs. We will also embrace the outdoor lifestyle, bringing attention to wild game, cooking techniques, veterinary medicine, conservation matters, and game shooting topics, all right to the fingertips of our readers. From first-time handlers to lifelong dog owners, we value everyone's story, and we're working to cultivate a community of like-minded individuals who dedicate their lives to their hunting dogs. We invite you to join our movement as we honor our past, embrace our future, and provide a gateway for hunters and handlers of all levels to explore the unbreakable bond we share with our dogs.
Do you love dog shows but dread the paperwork? Introducing UKC's online event entry service. Offer your exhibitors the ease of entering your club events right from the UKC event calendar, making entering your show and paying by card a breeze. Gone are the days of managing bookkeeping for each pre-entry transaction. With the UKC online event entry service, UKC will handle the pre-entries and send your club the collected entry fees and list of entered dogs 15 days before your event, allowing you the time to focus on other event details. Free for clubs, easy for exhibitors. Head to the UKC news section of ukcdogs.com to learn more and streamline your next event. UKC Online Event Entry Service, for dogs that do more.
If you want the chance to be featured across our social platforms, just tag at UKC Dogs or at UKC Hunting Ops on Instagram, and you can tag UKC Coonhounds on Facebook, or you can use the hashtag Dogs That Do More.
Your puppy only gets one start to set the foundation for a lifetime of performance at your side. Fuel growth and activity, support digestive health, and give him a training edge to one day flush, point, track, retrieve. So when the gear comes out, he'll be ready. Make every milestone count with game-changing puppy fuel. Eukanuba Premium Performance Puppy Pro.
All right, guys, welcome back to the 2025 UKC Tournament of Champions. We are nearing the ending of our program, but we have just some things that we're waiting on to bring you the official up-to-date final posting. I want to remind you, my name is Jamie Estep, your host tonight, along with Steve Burkholder and Rick Stretch. We've had an exciting night. We know that everything at this point in time is unofficial. We're waiting to get an official report when the field reps have the scorecard in hand, and we were waiting upon that official report to come in. And then once we get that official report, then we will take us to a close and finish out the night. So that's kind of where we're at right now. But before we're getting there, I want to make mention something that we started down the road, and maybe we kind of got sidetracked. One thing that I want to give props to is to the guys that have showed up this week to judge, to the guides of the local clubs, the club here in Greencastle, the club in Marshall, Illinois. We had judges drive in here, and if it wasn't for these guys, it couldn't happen. I mean, that's something that Thursday when we were in our meeting, we seen Trevor and Doug working tirelessly to make sure that we had quality judges. And so give a big thanks, a big shout out to all of those guys that have spent their time judging, have spent their time guiding. Major part of hosting an event of this caliber and this size. So want to give a shout out to that. Want to remind everyone tonight that on the card, our three judges that were on the card is Tyler Pettit, Jason Roberts, and Kevin Cable. And this makes the fourth round that all three of those have judged. They judged Thursday night. All three of those judged last night, round 2 and round 3, and then they're back out there tonight on round 4. So a big shout out to those guys. Guys, I guess I can say it's our closing thoughts, but Steve, give us a closing thought for you as we get ready to get a report at some point from the field. But Steve, go ahead and take us there.
Well, I think for me, it's just seeing the quality of hounds here this year again. I mean, just, from probably what stood out to me, and we talked about it earlier, is, we have 3 dogs here tonight from 3 prominent stud dogs that are reproducing. And they had multiple dogs here. It's very rare that you see that, but it's happening more and more. That stood out. And then just, the the fact that we have the youth that we talked about earlier, or the first-time hunters here, it happens every year, and then also the ones that didn't make it here, and then just a huge shout out to ditto what you said, Jamie. It's an incredible job that this area has done for a lot of years. I think this is the fifth year for the Tournament of Champions. It's our 4th year on set together. I enjoy it. I look forward to it every year. It was obviously, I know you guys wanted to cut on me a little bit, but was super bummed about Thursday night. Trust me, I would have much rather been here as sitting in an airport for 7 hours on a delay. Got in here about 10 till 3 in the morning just to figure out that I didn't have a rental car, and I think it was about 4:30, 5 o'clock. It was well after the show was over before I finally did end up getting here. But thoroughly enjoyed myself yesterday, getting to hang out with a lot of them that was here last night. Obviously, this hunt never gets old because it's always the anticipation of who's going to be your next winner. And just to give you an idea, this hunt it's a hard. There's been some really good dogs here, but I don't think in the 5 years, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong or not, there's never been a dog that's made the final cast any 2 different years that I'm aware of, and it just shows you how hard it is to get back here. How hard it is to get back here, how hard it is on that side of it, because the competition is stiff. And then probably lastly, I will say that it was really, really exciting to sit here last night. And I think out of the 6 casts that went in the woods, 2 of them ended up in a tie. One ended up having a lead change with the mere seconds left to go in the hunt, and a dog that trees. So three out of the 6 casts, to have that kind of competition and to come down to that, it was exciting to watch, and certainly is one of my favorite TOCs I've been to.
Rick, what would be your thoughts?
I think my thought would go back to the regional there at home. You come up and worked at it, and we had 240 entries there, and you touched on the base, the judges and the guides that are needed to put on an event of 96 dogs. We had 240. Now, we didn't need any non-hunting judges, but we still needed judges out there, hunting judges on each cast. And I just, you can't appreciate those people enough. And we run into a couple scenarios there at our regional. We had 240 entered, and we didn't make that 240 show up. And I had to cut, along with the other club officers, we had to cut 3 or 4 or 5 judges off on Friday, and a few more of that on Saturday, or the guides, and judges as well. But I want to give credit. I want to give as much credit as we can to those guys. On Friday night, I had 3 guides on 1 cast, and you probably didn't remember this scenario, but whenever you got done reading that card off, I took that out of your hand because I felt like I might have a problem with having 3 guides on 1 cast that were anticipating getting to guide their own cast. And I met up with them 3 guys, and they had already determined who the guide was going to be before I even got to them. And man, when you've got that kind of camaraderie and fellowship and things like that, and one of the winners on that cast actually advanced out here this week, and one, I believe,
he was first round. He won first round.
He won the first round, yeah. And you can't have these hunts without help. You can't do it. And so I want to touch on that at least from where I sat and the stuff that we had to deal with there at Mount Gilead, it's awesome to have people step up. Once again, we had 10 more guides out there that could have put a few more dogs in the woods for us. So, there's just not enough, you can't thank enough people that help put this on and bring it out there to our viewers and bring it to these guys that are competing, and the fabulous purse that's given away. It's just awesome. That's my take on it. You just can't pat enough people on the back. Yeah. You can't thank them enough. And I really appreciate the fact that they allow me to be sitting here. There's probably not too many more people that could do what I do, but there's a lot of people out there that could do what you guys are doing, but yet they let us come back year after year after year. And, it's just a few months away before we're doing this again.
That's what I was going to say, it's not necessarily my take from tonight, but to remind our viewers, you know, there are some awesome opportunities getting ready to start happening with UKC major events. I mean, like, for example,
things are getting better.
Yeah, like just take, for example, next weekend, Walker Days. And if you look at the things that the Walker Association is doing there, you're getting ready to start into that cycle of breed days. Most all breed associations are getting ready to do their breed days. For the next couple of months, you'll see a lot of those happening, see a lot of state championships happening. But then at this time right now, this is when you need to be looking and trying to get to an RQE and get your dog qualified for the World Hunt that's coming up in September. There'll be just almost the same setup. You go attend to RQE, win your cast, place in the top 10. Most of the time now at RQEs, if you win your cast, you're in. Then enter a zone. I think there's 6 zones, I think, as well, maybe 5 zones. I'm not sure. But enter a zone, and then it's typically about a little over 100 that advances to the World Finals. This year, the World Finals is going to be in Portland, Indiana, another location of great hunting there. And so
they've hosted numerous big
events.
They know what to do.
I think maybe the World has been there before as well, but I know breed days have been there. So they're no stranger.
And doing an incredible job.
Yeah, and I mean, Portland is a lot of you that hunt autumn oaks. It's the Bryant Club, that's a satellite club, and so I'm excited to go. I'm excited to go there in September. And so, but that starts now for you, is getting out and getting qualified at an RQE. And then I think you and I talked about it at lunch today. Don't forget the week of Labor Day. And the reason I say week, now you can start hunting at Autumn Oaks on Tuesday night and hunt Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at the slams. And hands down, my favorite hunt of the year.
Sure.
And then Friday and Saturday. And as a field rep, I've had the opportunity to work those slams the last couple of years. And dogs are splitting now because it's mandatory split at those. Some of those getting with the Calcuttas, you know, $1,000.
Yeah.
I mean, those slams are excellent attended, and truthfully, they were put in place for you, the viewers, because if you've hunted at Autumn Oaks much at all, you know there's always been in years past some folks that would get a ticket for coming up and trying to hunt without buying a license, and so now UKC put these in place for you, the viewer, to have a legal, safe way to hunt. So come to Autumn Oaks. Get pre-entered. You don't have to pre-enter the slams. You can just show up and hunt those. They're $35 slams. Most of them have a Calcutta, and then get on board and hunt Friday or Saturday night. You can only hunt 1 dog over 2 nights, but that you can also enter 2 dogs. You can hunt one night and hunt 1 the next night. So just want to give a direction there with the UKC World and Autumn Oaks. You'll be very excited to attend either one of them. And as Rick and I said today, I don't think there's nothing touches the atmosphere of Autumn Oaks.
No, it's like the World's Fair.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if either one of you guys have been to Kenton. Steve, maybe you've been to Kenton.
I have.
But Kenton, you know, Kenton, Autumn Oaks is nearly as big as Kenton was at one time, you know, and
that
it's awesome.
And that was people that wasn't even avid. You know, you attended it for the venue.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I'll share too on, as we're sharing some of this, talking of these big hunts coming up, it's really exciting. You know, even this weekend, obviously there's many other registries and venues. There's hunts that you can go hunting and win trucks. There's a $100,000 hunt coming up. And I just want to give a huge shout out to, you know, a lot of them people that compete in the other registries like Pro Sport or Professional Kennel Club, was also competing here this weekend. And what's exciting about that is you know, there's room for that side of it. It's just exciting to see them hunters come together and hunt in that, you know, in this, you know, situation to be able to do that.
They cross lines?
Cross lines, and it's just, it's exciting to see that.
I can remember on a conversation a year or so ago that Alan, you know, you would think there'd be a little more competitive spirit, or, you know, you'd hope that you would be number one if you're in Alan's shoes, Alan Gingrich's shoes, you hope you want to be number one or whatever else, but not Alan. Alan wants to see everybody, all these races, everybody have a good time and succeed in it, and when everybody
Working for
succeeds,
the common goal.
And and
Working for the common goal.
I was listening to him say that, and I thought, wow, this is what it is all about. You know,
That's what it should be.
You're rooting for everybody. You're hoping everybody does well wherever they're competing at, and it's but you know, like we said at lunch today, there's just, you know, there's a lot of UKC hunts you can go to, but the
You see a lot of these. You see a lot of these. You know, the guys that was competing here this weekend will compete at you know, John Strickland, past winner of Autumn Oaks. I think he would have won Autumn Oaks here probably 4 or 5 years ago now.
He had Apollo.
Had Apollo, won.
I'm not sure, Sundown or something was his name, registered name, but
and won Autumn Oaks. So you know, it's just
Now I got to ask, whose cup is that? It looks kind of sitting right in between. Old Lives Matter. I mean, which one of y'all are old? I mean,
well, that was. It shouldn't say Old Lives Matter, but the Best Lives Matter, I think is what that should. And you know, that's my cup. I brought it out here, but I didn't realize until Thursday night that it did have that on the back. And thanks for zooming in on that, you guys. But I just grabbed something I had there because you had they provided you with a cup, and I don't drink any warm drinks or mixed drinks like you do, and so I didn't drink out of that one. But
that's going to make you
that one there,
Facebook famous.
Probably. I will say this, and I don't know how long you were in Cancun, but all evening this evening I was able to compare tans. I don't know if you noticed that or not. This guy don't even have no tan. 7 hours in an airport to show for it, and no tan. But I mean, look right there. You look right there. You can tell that.
Well, Rick, some of us get 4 days of vacation. We don't get 2
I wish
weeks
I
like
could
you.
come behind you and do a poll on whose has the greatest tan, and we could get one of the percentages here.
I come home a little bit early.
I wonder if Houndsman Advantage could do that for us tonight.
Well,
if they could figure up a percentage.
Thank you, Jesus, that it worked flawlessly tonight.
It did.
Because I think Matt might have been searching for something different. But hey, it's going to work. You know, we've joked about it.
No doubt
here.
about it.
It's going to work.
No doubt about it. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be something else, another dimension of hunting that just makes things easier.
And we keep talking about using it here tonight, you know, for competition.
But you can use
it. You can use it all through the week.
Yeah,
John writes his stuff down.
Yeah.
No longer are you right. I mean, I've watched him pull his notebook out. You have too, and I'm thinking, what in the world? This guy can't keep score, can't keep track. And that's all come to a halt with this idea here. $7 a month.
Yeah.
These guys are
competing. There's actually several different levels. The first is, and this came from Matt when we were talking to him yesterday. There's 4 tiers, and the first is the advantage tier, and they said that was kind of built more towards the pleasure hunter, and it was $33 a year. Now you can also, to our viewers, and I'm not sure, I think it's $3 if it's per month, but you get a little bit of a discount if you do it for a year. The second level, or the second tier, is the Grand Advantage, and it's $55 a year. The third is the Pro Advantage, and it's $66 a year. And the fourth is the Elite the Elite tier, and it's $77 a year for the 4 different tiers that they have available. And that's one of the things that I like about it. I'm going to kind of make myself start using it more. Is number one, the more you use it, the more you're going to get comfortable with it. I mean, that's the thing. And so this morning, I was playing with it there, and I did a fake scorecard. I actually had you as a handler and me as a handler, and I beat you pretty bad on my fake scorecard.
It was fake.
It was fake, you know.
The big term for that was
big
fake.
Term, you know. So.
Yeah, it's just amazing. I mean, I can remember the first guy that put a tracking collar around his hand. You can remember that too. The first tracking collar
around his neck or the dog's neck?
Around the dog's neck.
Oh.
And you know, for 10 years we were watching Wild Kingdom or them ESPN shows, and they were tracking bears, they were tracking deer, and here this guy decides, hey, start tracking my dogs in these hunts. And it's just progressed from there. Wheat lights, what was
now you wouldn't. I mean, you wouldn't think about turning one loose.
No, these guys are wearing these dogs are wearing 2 collars.
Yeah.
These guys, you know,
Then
I don't
they
know
had
who he interviewed. I think Dude had the first one the other night. He got two collars on him, and one was a Garmin, one was a dog trainer. And it's just amazing to me where we're going and where we're headed.
Yeah.
You know, it's
it's
awesome.
And with knowing all that side of it, you know, even in the light technology, I mean, they used to hunt with carbide lights and that kind of thing. And then they went with the Sunburst, come out with the pack that fit around you, the battery packs that fit around you.
Gatton, yeah.
And then we had the little night lights. You know, night lights been around forever.
Them bulb blowers, nothing but bulb blowers.
And you could have the little rheostat that you could turn on. It was my first light. I mean, I was born and raised Amish, so you know for me when I got my first night light, it was just one of them little ones or whatever. That was the jackpot. You know, that was the mecca of it.
We're actually going to get ready to throw to Alan. And Alan's, well, you got to wait and find out. I don't know what he has to say. He's probably going to be talking about you as rough as you've kind of been here just a little bit.
Cutting in on us again. That's all.
Cutting in on us again. All right, Alan, what do you have to give us up to date on?
Well, I'm not going to give Rick a hard time. I gave him a hard time on Thursday night when I had one of his buddies on there, and we were trying to get our job done, and Rick just kept talking, and we're standing out there in the cold freezing. But hey, tonight everything's nice and cozy here in the studio. But I do have the final report that I got from Trevor from the field. And as it turned out, Jonathan Moses dropped his question. Obviously, it wasn't going to matter in the end then. After Cowboy had his tree got plussed up. So that does in fact end and finalize the hunt. So with that said, I want to congratulate each one of the owners and handlers of the dogs. And third place with the $20,000 finish is going to be Jonathan Moses and his partner with Dow Jones. They're going to be third with $30,000 is going to be Austin Gentry with Cowboy. Obviously, it wasn't the finish that he wanted. As you heard here on the live stream, he was just kind of a victim of circumstances, dog kind of getting out of pocket a little bit, and but that's hunting. But I'd say he'll like that $30,000 check as well. But I want to congratulate our overall winners, John Strickland, Doug Galbraith, Ashley Oxendine, and Randy Smith. Willie's Little Ann is going to be our 2025 Tournament of Champions champion. So congratulations to everybody, and thanks to all of you guys for tuning in tonight for another episode here at the TOC. So with that, I'm going to send it back to the guys at in the studio.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We all would like to say tonight congratulations to Little Ann and John Strickland and that whole team. That's one thing that I can say, that we have seen a team make it happen. You see the owners named there, John Strickland, Ashley Oxendine, Doug Galbraith, Randy Smith from the state of Kentucky. Willie's Little Ann. I've already gotten a couple of texts tonight from J.R. Gray saying Team Willie. So J.R. is probably adding that $50,000 to Willie's total money of pup earnings. Yeah. But again, congratulations to this team and Little Ann. Guys, that brings us to a close. And as always, it's my privilege to work with you guys. And it's been just a lot of fun as always. And to our viewers, thank you so much for being with us Thursday night. Thank you for being a part of Midnight Mayhem. To UKC, to this production team, to Trevor, to Alan, to Nicole, to that whole production, to that whole staff. Let's give them props and a thank you. And more than anything, thank you for coming and sharing this night with us as we've brought to you the finals of the 2025 UKC Tournament of Champions. Rick and Steve, thank you so much. And all I can say to you guys as we close tonight, go out, get qualified, and we hope to see you at the 2026 UKC Tournament of Champions. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Your puppy only gets one start to set the foundation for a lifetime of performance at your side. Fuel growth and activity. support digestive health, and give him a training edge to one day flush, point, track, retrieve. So when the gear comes out, he'll be ready. Make every milestone count with game-changing puppy fuel. Eukanuba Premium Performance Puppy Pro.